Good evening. Good evening. I hope everybody had a good weekend. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. I'm Max 611, aka Mark A. Cunningham, or the reverse, but it's Max 611. This is In the Paint, the realest show in sports. Everybody who's watching us and out there on our different streams, thank you for joining us. Spread the word about us. We are the realest show in sports. I got my brother Chandler with us tonight, as R won't be in, and I got my other brothers in the queue. I'm gonna bring them in shortly. What's up, Chandler?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Uh, Ain't nothing changed.
Still evil?
Yeah, pretty much.
Still angry?
Always.
That's what we like. I'm gonna bring our other brothers in. Dom from the NC. What's up, brother?
Good evening, fellas. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah, and I hear the crickets too. That's a good sound though.
Hey,
I don't
Matt.
know where they're coming from.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Matt. He actually from Hawaii since he putting fruit on fish. He from Gun Halea Road in Hawaii.
Yes.
Hater.
I know, and we got our other brother in the metro. Jay, what's up, bro?
What's good, my brothers? How we doing?
All good, all good.
Yo, y'all was killing me today, man. When you text me. Oh my god.
Did your phone blow up?
Oh my god, man. That's
Was your phone hot?
Yo.
You know what's crazy? It's not just our text group, but then I got like my cousin got me in 9 different text groups.
Oh nah.
He got me in 50 million chats, and my
I'd
phone
have
be
to
going.
get rid of my phone. I'd have to get rid of my phone, bro. I can't do that.
And then be mad talking about you ain't text me back. Motherfucker, I got 95 million texts from you. But
But that
it's
shit
gonna
with spam and the Vienna sausages and the steak, like that was just that brought it back.
yeah. Oh, our text bubble, the in the paint text bubble is crazy. We gonna keep it NBA tonight. We're gonna talk about the different trades that transpired, free agents that have been signing. I thought it would be grand that we start off with our favorite team, the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about some of the moves they made? Is it
we know how
well? Chandler's
Let the hater
Chandler
go
just
first.
angry. Yeah, let the hater go first. Go ahead, get it out. Listen, folks. This man truly has some hate. I don't know what Evan Fournier did to him, but he got a lot of hate for him.
Oh
And
shit.
please, brother, the floor is yours.
It's not that. Listen, Evan Fournier is a nice role player. He's not an
Yes.
$80 million role player. If My problem with the Evan Fournier signing is they could have got somebody to do the same job for less money. There were other guys out there. You say, oh, well, they needed perimeter shooting. There were other guys out there that they could have paid $30 million to, okay, and who would give them the same amount of perimeter shooting, same numbers, same percentages, same everything. All right, this is a dude who, in the playoffs for his career, has folded like a cheap tent, okay, under pressure. This is a guy. This is a guy when you needed him to step up, has faded into the woodwork, and by his contract. And again, listen. You can say what you want, but your contract dictates your place and expectations on a roster. Don't. I mean, people can say, well, it does. No, yes, it does. Okay, it does. The fact that Julius Randle is the highest paid player on the Knicks means that Julius Randle has to be the star. Okay, Evan Fournier is the number 2 player. Evan Fournier is not a guy. He's never even scored 20. This is a guy who's not a number 2 player, and he should be getting that money. They could have did something different with the money. Like I said, it ain't about Evan Fournier. It's about the money. If you had got him at a reasonable rate, nobody else was offering him that type of money. You kidding me? Nobody else was offering him no $80 million. No one else was offering Evan Fournier $80 million.
That
Okay,
you
so
know of.
You listen. Nobody else is offering Evan Fournier $80 million because we would have heard about it. Okay, they bid against themselves, and then you go, okay, Kemba Walker. This is almost the ghost of Kemba Walker at this point. Okay, he's not the Kemba. He's not the Kemba Walker that was in Charlotte. Nobody can disagree with that. So this oh, we got Kemba and now we gonna be contending. Okay, because see, I'm old enough to know that this sounds and smells very similar to Rolando Blackman, uh,
Oh shit.
Buck Robinson, Paul Westphal,
Allen
Kiki
Houston.
Vandeweghe, Maurice Lucas. I can go on and on with guys who, towards the end of their career, now we want to sign them and act like they're going to come in and be saviors. You know, if Kimber Walker plays more than 50 games, I will gladly say, you know what, I was wrong. I don't think he's going to play more than 50 games.
Mm.
Okay, with that knee. All right, we already got a guy in Derrick Rose who, let's be honest, is one explosive leap away from being the ghost of Derrick Rose. So, in a vacuum, if you look at the names, it sounds good, but I don't see where this team appreciably improved itself.
Okay, good points. Good points. I like your points. I don't agree with all of them, but I like them. I like them. I'm gonna let Jay go.
I agree with a few of their transactions. I agree with Chandler as far as Evan Fournier. I mean, nothing against the brother, but he's the second highest paid on the team, right?
Right now, yes.
And he's not a takeover type of dude. I mean, he may played well in the Olympics that first game. It's
Hmm.
funny how he played well in the Olympics that first game, so that the Knicks signed him after that. But then the last game that they just played, he didn't really play that well. They
you
should have waited for the gold medal game.
you
Um,
wrong for that.
Kemba, Kemba Walker, I like him as a player. Um,
Right.
Again, I don't know how commanding he's going to be because he's been plagued with injuries, and he is an older Kemba Walker, and we
Right.
already have an older Derrick Rose
Right.
that we just signed for a boatload of money as well.
Hmm.
Um, or not we, I mean they did because I didn't sign anybody, nor is any money coming out of my pocket.
Right.
Uh,
But you got 95 jobs. Can I hold something? You know you part Jamaican.
of course. Uh, I mean, other than that, I don't know. I mean, I'm a little. I mean, Alec Burks, I like. Um,
Right.
they didn't keep the other kid, did they?
Bullock went to Dallas.
Yeah. See, I don't agree. I think they should have did what they could to keep him.
Hmm.
I think he really played his ass off. Not saying that Burks didn't, but they should have. I, I would have gave him money than Kemba Walker personally. But hey, I'm not running the team. Um,
Right. Right.
I mean, and that's really all I can say. I wasn't really totally pleased with their free agency. But hey,
Right.
it is what it is, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Chandler, what would you give him? Grading, from A to F, or vice versa.
Geez. I go C minus to B because I like the draft picks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Right.
like the kid Jericho Sims. I mean, the offseason as a whole, I give him C minus to a B because I like the draft picks. The kid Jericho Sims is going to be a really good replacement for Mitchell walking injury Robinson. Um, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
overall, I'll give him a B. Free agency, I'll give him a C, a hard C. But overall, I'd probably give him a B because of the draft picks.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Jay, what's your grade?
Yeah, I think I'm around that same area. I think that I'm a little upset that they ended up, giving up some of their draft picks. But
Right.
I mean that it is what it is. However they're going to play it, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Uh,
Okay.
but yeah, there's some guys I have no clue who the hell they are as far as who they picked up. I'm trying to read up on them and stuff, but I guess we'll see what happens, man. Remains to be seen. But I give them about a C.
Okay. Okay. Dom, your turn. Refute what these blasphemers have said.
Oh, I know Dom's going to refute. I know.
I, I, I think my Wi-Fi is kind of weak. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we hear
Loud
you.
and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, hear you very
Okay.
clearly.
It's it's the mentality that I'm hearing that takes us back to where we used to be. When you're constantly thinking about what we did and what we did and what we did in the past, then you
Right.
know what? You'll be there. You'll just be there. Maybe I'm just overly pessimistic, just like I was last year. But I will say this: getting 40 finally gives us to get R.J. Barrett out of the 2 slot.
Right. Oh, you stop. Dom, I can't hear you.
He's got the size. He's got the length. Let's just leave that.
Dom, you faded in and
Huh?
out. Could you repeat some of what you said, sir?
Can you? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was saying that by getting Fournier, whether you like it or not, it still gets us out of putting R.J. Barrett at the 2. He wasn't a 2 in college. He wasn't a 2 in the NBA. So, like it or not, it sort of benefits us. Getting Kemba Walker gets us out of the doldrum of thinking quickly is going to be a point guard. Say what you want about Kemba Walker. You must not hear me.
We hear you. We hear you. Continue.
Oh, okay. And getting Kemba Walker, you know what? The Miami Heat signed a 36-year-old point guard, and Moses is part in the Red Sea. Okay, I could live with that because I'm not a Heat fan. But if we would have signed Kemba Walker, 3 or 4 of us on this line.
You faded out, Dom.
You fading out. You mean Lowry? You talking about Kyle Lowry?
Kyle Lowry, I think he talking about, yeah.
Yeah. And Dom
gone?
He faded out.
Brother
David. Dom, if you still there.
Unless he turned into David.
Wait.
Yeah.
We got Transformers on here now.
What's going on?
What's up, David? How you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. How you doing, brothers?
Yeah, Dave. We're gonna stay in the lane of the NBA, and we're gonna talk about all the trades and the signings in free agency. Presently, we're talking about the New York Knicks and the moves they made. What are your thoughts on the moves they made in trading and in the free agents they signed?
Well, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
But yeah, I was really looking forward to seeing what they were going to do, especially with all the talk about cap space and New York becoming a destination again for free agents. So starting with the draft and going into when I looked at the draft, I didn't understand what the plan was. I guess it was that they had guys on the board that they wanted, and then when they were no longer available, then they figured that they would start making some moves. I don't understand the moves, but again, they get paid a lot of money to understand things that I don't. Then free agency was upon us, and I was excited about, okay, we hear about all this cap space, like $50 million in cap space, and I know what the Knicks' needs are based on what I saw. Especially, it was exposed greatly in the playoffs. So I was looking for, at least them to bolster that point guard position, and then day went by. There were a lot of moves made. And I didn't hear a peep from the Knicks. Ultimately, the Kemba Walker. Okay, they addressed the need. I don't know that Kemba Walker was the answer, but with the limited options, and they kind of put themselves in a position where they had limited options.
Right.
I guess I can't be mad at it. But that's not going into. If you told me going into off season that that's what they were going to come out with, I'd have been a little disappointed by that. So
Okay.
that's really my take on it. Again, they might catch lightning in the bottle, and I'm willing to give them the benefit of that doubt. But on today, what is today, August the 9th?
Yep.
I'm not.
2021.
Yeah, I'm not
9:15.
right at
In
this
the paint
point
time.
in the paint time. I'm not enamored by it, but
Okay.
somebody could prove me, to be wrong, and I'd love to be wrong about it.
Okay. So David, on a scale of rating A to F, A meaning A meaning good, super
Right.
good, and F meaning
I
the
think
pits failure. What would you give them?
I think earlier Dom had asked that question, and I said incomplete. I think at this point, I would give them a C minus.
Okay. 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 I see you got your black New York Met hat on, and Dom threw on the gray New
That's
York
right.
Yankee hat. Dom, are
That's right.
you
Go
how's your
Yankees.
sound?
Can you hear me?
Hmm.
Yeah, we hear you.
I finally decided to get off the lazy tip and just plug into my computer and leave my iPad alone.
Boom.
There you
Boom.
go.
But in case,
Expounds again on what you were trying to say, because a lot of it
right?
got lost.
Okay. The first thing I touched on was the going back in time and what we did. Where it's if you want to stay there, that's fine. I choose not to. I choose to look at the little steps they've taken. Here's another key, other than the things I touched on with getting Fournier, moving RJ to the 3. We did something we haven't done in 5 years. Whether you agree with the players they brought back or not, we finally brought back some players. So we're showing some sort of continuity,
Right.
which, when you look at it, the players they brought back had us first in defense, first in field goal percentage against, 3-point against, points against. So you brought back some good continuity. Again, say what you want about Kemba Walker. Miami went and signed a 36-year-old point guard. If we'd have did that, y'all be on the line complaining about that, because I would have too. But again, it's like every move we make, you're going to get your scrutiny. But again, I don't see no team in the East that improved that much more than they did from last year.
Right.
Philadelphia is still an accident waiting to happen. The Celtics can't figure themselves out. You got the Nets, you got the Bucks. Who really improved themselves from last year? In some baby steps, we did. Because now RJ Barrett could go to the 3 where he belongs. Bishop could live happily ever after.
Wherever he's at.
Yeah, wherever he's at. And those are the little steps I took out of it, guys. I can't get into all of the, what we did with Mobley, Steve Francis. That was years ago. So again, I choose to look on the brighter side of it.
You're not
We're
choosing
going to build upon a good year we had last year when everybody said we'd win 22 games. So you got a good coach. I'll tell you what, the only thing that's puzzling me is, do the Knicks still have a rabbit up their sleeve? Because why would you give Noel $10 million if you had that much faith in Mitchell Robinson?
Well, he's insurance. Mitchell Robinson is there to get the job, but maybe they don't have faith in Mitchell Robinson being healthy. Maybe they will trade him use him as trade bait in the future.
I'll ask this, Mark.
Yes.
Has that diva mentality caught up to him? The Knicks had to send somebody down to Louisiana to monitor his rehab, to monitor his workouts. We went over this last year with his diva mentality. You know, is it catching up with him? I don't know.
Why would you call him a diva?
Because of what he went through last year and the year before that with his attitude and I should be doing this, I should be doing that. You're right, you should in your mind. But what you need to do is learn how to stay on the court. Even when you weren't hurt, just stay on the court. 5 fouls in 2.5 quarters don't give you a lot of wiggle room to run your mouth.
Right.
Then the Knicks go out and get Noel, who, believe it or not, guys, I thought he'd be one of the one and dones. But then I started thinking when they signed him, how much faith do they have in this Mitchell Robinson kid?
Well,
then
they also brought back Taj Gibson.
Yeah, and then I heard rumors they were trying to package Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, and a draft pick, one of the picks we got this year. Remember, guys, there's a moratorium on the picks you selected this year. You have to sign them. They have to be on the team for 30 days before you could package them in a deal because you're still talking about money. They was going to package those 3 and possibly a pick to be named later to Indiana for Miles Turner.
Listen, I know Indiana hung the phone up on them because I would if you offered me Mitchell Robinson and Kevin Knox.
But here's the thing.
I'd take the draft pick though, but
here's the thing.
You got to give me something else.
They could hang the phone up now, but when Miles Turner bounces next year, they're going to wish they stood on the line.
Well, maybe there's a market for Miles Turner, so maybe they can make a deal for him. What's your grading on the Knicks free agency and their off season?
I'll give the off season overall. I give them a B plus. I give them a C. I give them a C in the draft.
Okay.
Because we wouldn't have been in the Kemba Walker boat if we would have identified the point guard in the draft. So,
well, I think picking 19 was the highest pick we had.
But they passed
the
over the
people we wanted were gone.
But they didn't. They passed over the kid from Baylor, who was a proven player, won the national championship. You didn't have a point guard. So when they blew that, I was like, okay. And again, guys, if y'all know me, I don't put a lot of stock in draft picks to begin with because they're hit or miss. Mm-hmm. It's a win now league. So you could have all the faith you want. If you could package them, which I thought the Knicks were going to do when they kept trading down, I'm like, oh, they're going to get rid of these picks. And they didn't.
Right.
So the draft, I give them a C. Free agency, a B plus, because they identified some of the needs and they brought some of the players back, which gives us continuity. Second year with Thibodeau. Second year with a lot of these young kids, the Quickleys, the Toppins. And, again, 4th seed last year, supposed to win 22 games. Did they pull a rabbit out their hat? I don't know, guys. They played great team defense.
Right.
So that'll win you some games.
So can I just ask, because I don't disagree with you, Dom, and you make good points. I'm just wondering, did they build a team for the regular season or did they build a team to advance in the postseason? Because I saw 2 different Knicks teams. If we're talking about the 2020-21 season, I saw a team that surpassed most of our expectations for the season, and everyone got excited about. But then I saw a team in the playoffs that looked lost. They looked outplayed. They couldn't contain Trae Young, and the defense aspect of it was non-existent for most of it.
That's a good point. But you know what? Their offense went back to their offense before March. They went back to not being able to hit a shot. They went from that to being 3rd in 3-point field goal percentage down the end. Their offense, which was pretty much stagnant 75% of the year, came back. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about their defense, though, Atlanta beat them 4-1. Atlanta never exceeded their points per game. They averaged 114 points in the regular season. They didn't score 114 points in one game. So the defense did their part. The chickens came home to roost because you had the R.J. Barretts. You know, his perimeter shooting wasn't that great to begin with. Quickly was in a position he's never been in before. So basically, you was back to Julius Randle or bust. So,
okay, I'll give you that about the points per game, and then playoff averages are often less than what they are during the regular season. But I will say that defense at the point position, I didn't see it because that kid ran up and down the court on them and
he
turned
did
it
it
on
against
whenever he want.
he did it against every team.
But he did, but it was a glaring problem that I saw at that position. Strong. That's not an area that I felt we were strong defensively. So while the other positions might have been consistent defensively, it looked worse. Just watching this kid just go at will and no one stop it. And so to me, that was a major point that I thought they needed to address was not only getting that. I love a floor general type of point guard, but we needed somebody that would be able to at least impede him. You're not going to totally stop Trey Young, and I get it because he can get you from the outside and the inside, but he just he made a mockery of the Knicks defense, and it was glaring to me, at least the way I viewed it. It was embarrassing to me, and it was frustrating to watch.
But David,
he did it against every other team in the playoffs too, Dave. I mean, is he that good?
I think that they did address that, David, with the kid Quentin Grimes. Now, I watch a lot of college basketball. At Kansas, he had issues. Bill Self, we all know Bill Self ain't the greatest. They put him up as like this great coach. We know he's really not. He left Kansas, went home to Houston. Now, the one thing about this kid Grimes is he loves to play defense. He reminds me, and I'm not saying the NBA Jimmy Butler. He reminds me of the Jimmy Butler when he was in Marquette. He reminds me of the Dwayne Wade in Marquette, in which no one knew they would become what they became. But in college, those guys loved to play defense. They were hard-nosed, tough players. You have that in this kid Grimes. So now we have a player, and I think that's how Tibbs is going to use him initially. Just listen, you go out there, you play defense. If we get some points from you, fine. But your job is to play defense, be hard-nosed, and give us sort of an edge. So I think they did it. That's why I kind of gave them an overall B because of the draft, because I like some of the kids they brought in. And looking at how Tibbs uses young players and seeing how he worked with Jimmy Butler and other young guards that he had when he was in Chicago, guys that people thought weren't going to be a lot. Oh, it's just going to be a defensive guy. And as they progress. So I think they did address it somewhat. But I like your question because, at the end of the day, when I say we didn't appreciably get better, Dom, I'm looking at playoffs. I don't care about the regular season, to be quite honest with you. Regular season is fine, but how are we going to be in the playoffs? I mean, we'll see. But that's why, for me, the free agency didn't work that well. But I think the draft picks did because I think Jericho Sims is the replacement for Mitchell Robinson. I don't think they believe Mitchell Robinson can stay healthy. So I think he's the replacement for Mitchell Robinson, which is why you have Noel and Gibson. But for Dave's point, I think the kid Quentin Grimes is going to be somebody that Knicks fans really like to watch play, especially on the defensive end.
Well,
but Chandler, you gotta get to the playoffs. So
they are. That's
true.
Right. True. I'm not enamored with Kemba Walker, the signing, and y'all know I'm a Kemba Walker fan. He's compromised. Derrick Rose is compromised. So we got two point guards who are both close to 30 or 30. They both have had numerous injuries and surgeries, and they both play point guard. So we got to keep them fresh and in bubble wrap.
Kemba's 31.
But that's the good thing. Go ahead, Mark. That's the good thing of having both of them. Again, if we're going to look at everything as half empty, to Chandler's point, okay, this kid Grimes might be an extra body. But here's the thing, guys. You learn as you go. You know,
Right.
teams have gotten knocked out in the first round, the second round, made it to the third round. But that's the thing I'm trying to say. When you bring back the continuity, you know, the one person I liked that the Knicks kept was Burks. I like Alec Burks. He's a Swiss Army knife. He could do many things. But you brought back so many of the players that got you to the fourth seed. You added a little bit of offense, and think about it, guys. Who was really in free agency? Would any of y'all went? Some of y'all would have went off the rail if the Knicks signed Reggie Jackson, Ricky Schroeder, or any of these. Y'all would have had something to say about that. Y'all would have said Schroeder ain't worth the money. This guy's too old.
So, you said Ricky Schroeder.
But Dom, those guys. Both those guys aren't better than Kemba Walker, even with Kemba Walker's injury.
Exactly. But y'all would have went crazy. I wouldn't have signed him. I would have.
Yeah, well, for Reggie Jackson, yes. Schroeder, I'd have been mildly upset, depending on the money they gave him. But I like the Evan Fournier signing. We needed a shooter. We got another shooter. Him and Alec Burks. If they both shoot over 40% or close to 40%, that's good. I like bringing back Nerlens because, in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the starting center because to me he's better than Mitchell Robinson, and if Mitchell Robinson hasn't improved and he hasn't worked on his game, you're gonna have to come off the bench, and you might be gone next year.
You know how I always get into numbers,
right?
When Mitchell Robinson went down, the Knicks' defense got better and their offense got better.
Right. Well, Noel's is a young veteran. Taj Gibson can get 1-year contracts till he's 60.
Yeah. He's the new Herb Williams. He's the new Herb Williams.
Right. The transition right into coaching after that.
I like Quentin Grimes because he's a dog on defense, long arms. He's what we needed. Hopefully they'll not put too much pressure on him, like you were saying, Chandler, and Dom offensively. And we want you to attack teams defensively. I like McBride. McBride was a good pickup.
Yeah.
We'll see what the two the Euro guards that we got, if they can shoot as well. You know, I grade the Knicks on I give them a B for free agency, B minus, and I give them a B plus in the draft because they identify some needs in the draft. We got some depth. Watched a little bit of the game. Obi Toppin needs to work. He needs a lot of work. I like him because he is a worker. Randall is in front of him, so he might be trade fodder as well.
A quick question.
Yes, sir.
They still got the Jared Harper?
No, I don't think so. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm gonna say no. We got our brother Reggie on the line. Reggie,
hello, gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
My brother Reggie, your thoughts on the New York Knicks free agency and draft?
Oh well. I guess like everybody said, they addressed the issues that they had, but Kemba Walker, I don't think I would have did that. That's just my opinion.
Right.
I mean, for what Tibbs wants as far as defense, he's not going to give it to you.
Well, that's why you understand, young boy.
But hopefully his offense, if he can shoot, if he can stay healthy, or offset his lack of defense. But I don't think that's going to fit into the scheme. That's just my opinion as far as that's concerned on Kemba Walker. And, you got to let the kids grow. Got to let them have their growing pains.
Right. Right.
So, as far as grading, I I gotta wait and see. I gotta wait and see.
No
Maybe
doubt.
they know something I don't. But
Right. Let's move on a little. Staying in the New York tri-state. Brooklyn Nets and their moves. What are you guys' thoughts?
I don't know what they did.
I was just about to say the same exact thing.
Durant signed an extension, right?
Yeah.
No, he didn't. He's about
going
to.
to,
All three of the big three are due to get massive extensions.
So that's what
they brought back Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Okay.
They signed Patty Mills.
Yeah.
They traded Landry Shamet. They brought in Bruce Brown. Well, they brought
I
him
don't like
back.
that. I don't like that. I don't like the Shaman. Yeah.
I would have kept Shaman.
Yeah. I mean, the Dinwiddie thing. Dinwiddie, for whatever
Dinwiddie is
reason,
gone.
he didn't want to be there. He'd rather take $60 million and play for the Wizards.
No, Chandler. No, that's not what happened.
Okay, listen. The man said out of his mouth. I ain't putting these words in his mouth, and I ain't making it up. He said, if it's $60 million, I may as well go somewhere else. That's what he said, and that's what he did. Okay.
Well, no, he really wanted $100 million, which he got.
I get that.
The Nets didn't have money to pay him. They got to pay the big three.
Okay, he wound up in DC on a bad team. So good for him. You got your money, and now you're gonna lose. So good for you and goodbye. But because he ran his mouth too much. I'm sorry, you talking too much, bro, and you ain't that good. But I don't really know. Again, I don't see where the Nets got better. Now, if you say that the big three can stay healthy and
Right.
then yeah, I'll say that they're still at the top of the East. But if you have the same thing happen this coming season that happened last season, which is, well, listen, we know Kyrie gonna miss time. Let's be clear, we already know that. We know he's gonna miss time. So who's supplementing that? What do you do? Patty Mills, I would have kept Landry Shamet, man. Landry Shamet, that kid got a lot of talent. When Kyrie misses time, that would have been his time to shine. I know you still got what's the kid? Mac and Cheese or Chase on. You know who I'm talking about. And the other French kid with the TLC, the Taxi. Right. I know you still got all of them. I just don't understand their moves, bro. I don't understand what they did. I'm giving them a C, and I'm trending towards a D.
Okay. Hold on before y'all talk. My brother Reggie, the other Reggie from our group, I'm not gonna say his last name, but he's on my page on Facebook. He said the Knicks had a great season and dropped the ball this free agency, no momentum. He gave him a D+. And he called what's his name from Australia? He called him Patty Cakes. Patty Mills.
Shoot.
What are you?
Wow.
Patty Mills is a great insurance policy to have with a guy like Kyrie Irving on your team. Because guess what? Patty Mills could let somebody else play the point guard. There ain't going to be no headstrongism with him. He's going to go spot up and hit some shots.
Right.
That's what he's done. I mean, I think that was a good addition, especially having Chandler's buddy Kyrie, who's going to miss games because the sky is falling, whatever. But Patty Mills could just stand out there.
He called him Chicken Little.
Yeah. I thought Patty Mills was a good deal. Maybe that's
the Nets need a whole lot of insurance. Those premiums must be really high in Brooklyn.
And the best deal the Nets could have made was get rid of Kyrie. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
I agree.
And somebody said something weird as hell today that maybe
really, I'm shocked.
Go figure, right there.
Right.
Somebody said maybe that was the plan when they got Patty Mills. Because Harden's going to be your point guard.
Yeah.
So does it matter who that other guy is with Harden, Durant? Patty Mills, again, great shooter, great spot-up shooter. You got these two guys shucking and jiving, going to the hoop, and there he is standing out there. He don't need all the N1 mixtape. He's just going to shoot.
Yeah.
He's an upgrade over Landry Shamet, who disappeared during the playoffs.
You think he is really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Patty Mills is solid. He's a solid veteran. He's been through a lot of wars, and he's a plug and play guard.
He's a proven player. Say what you want, but he's proven himself. I mean,
go ahead, Chandler.
Maybe I'm just in love with the potential in Shamet, because you look at his talent. That boy is so talented, and maybe that's where my blind spot is with him, because he has so much talent. I mean, that kid can shoot. He has so much talent, and I'm like, when is it just going to come out? So maybe you guys are probably right with the Patty Mills. I just have, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you see some players you just fall in love with because you see the physical ability, and you overlook the fact that they just don't ever show it. So,
Matt, I was just waiting for Chandler to say sexual chocolate after that. He was like,
boy, yo, Chandler. I don't know if you guys know that Jeff Green left.
Did he?
Yeah,
Jeff Green left.
he
got signed, but I forget, but he has been on the last 5 years. He's been on the vets minimum. That's like some kind of record.
Wow.
Taj got to be up there with him.
Oh, he's with Denver. Oh, that's a good.
He went to Denver.
Yes.
Okay, that's a good.
That's a great move for Denver. That's a great move.
Yeah,
and for him too.
Right. I saw when they with him and Blake, they had to choose. So I guess they chose Blake.
Who would you have chosen?
Jeff Green, not Blake.
Jeff Green.
Me, I think Jeff Green, because he's just steady.
He's more versatile too.
Right. Yeah. And Blake Griffin, the last 2 years, he's been regressing. He had a resurgence once he got with the Nets.
Yeah, he did.
And I think he also fits the Nets because they don't expect him to be the Blake Griffin that was with the Clippers.
True.
No, but he started balling out though. I give it to him.
Yeah. So Brooklyn Nets, what's the grades on their off season?
I couldn't tell you. I'll be honest with you. We need R on here.
Probably because I don't care, but
yeah, right. You better give him an A because R will get mad.
Oh yeah.
Well, he didn't really do anything.
In memory of R, we'll give him an A plus.
Yeah, right.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna give them a B minus.
Wow.
Ooh, that's high.
Nice.
I like the Patty Mills signing. Bringing back Blake Griffin and bringing back Bruce Brown. You know, they were solid last year. Griffin and Brown.
Is DeAndre Jordan still on the team?
I was getting ready to ask that.
Yes. That contract is unmovable.
That's a solid F then. That's a solid F.
So his contract fits him, unmovable. He just got you there.
The Boston Celtics, we're gonna have to give them an F because they haven't really done anything. They brought back Enes Kanter, I think.
Yeah.
I give Boston an A plus because without Danny Ainge giving Kemba Walker that stupid contract, then moving him, and then Oklahoma City giving the kid with 101 names a max, that left Kemba Walker out for the taking. So basically, we got Kemba Walker on the cheap, but he's still getting paid. So I give the Celtics an A plus. Just for that dumbness.
Yeah.
Well, I like the Horford.
Right. They brought back all. Well, that was they did bring back out. Mm-hmm. What's funny is they didn't have a first round pick. Remember they were kings. They were one of the kings of stockpiling picks.
Yeah.
Their pick was number 45.
Danny Ainge. the new Kenny Rogers. He didn't know when he didn't know when to fold them.
That's
he kept holding them assets, saying, we got to the conference final 3 out of 4 years. There was nobody in the East except LeBron.
Yeah.
Right.
You blew that.
That's
then
true.
you bring back Al Horford. You trade Kemba Walker. Well, first of all, you let Kyrie walk to get Kemba Walker after letting Rozier walk. I mean, they went wheels on the bus, go round and round. And they ain't got none of them no more.
Let me ask you this, Dom. I'm not a Terry Rozier is an all right player. I understood why they let him walk, though. He wanted mad money.
Right.
And Scary Terry isn't that guy. Him and Reggie Jackson Reggie Jackson and Dennis Schroeder, same guys.
But the weird thing about that, Mark, is you let Rozier go, and the wheels on the bus went round and round after that.
What?
And what do you have left? You don't have Rozier. You don't have Kyrie. You don't have Kemba. So, I mean, where did I love Danny Ainge?
Hey, listen.
He's got to be a box of rocks, man. Thank God, because we benefited from it.
Listen, y'all know, unfortunately, probably when next time we do a show with R, I will have some dreaded something from Massachusetts on.
We've been waiting. Football
know
season is starting already.
Right. Y'all know I hate the Celtics with all the passion, and I can't stand them. But they made some bad moves, and I'm happy for them.
Exactly. Think about this, Max, before we put the Celtics to bed. all that we just went over.
Right.
And the Knicks had a better record than them last year.
Hey.
And tell me they improved.
No, there's no way they improved. I don't understand what Boston did.
They're regressing.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I feel bad for Nia Long's fiance, that bastard.
Not me.
Not only is he in Boston, but
who's that?
The coach.
The coach. That's Nia Long's fiance. Not
only
why
do you know that?
Yes.
Why do you know that?
Yeah.
Why do you know that?
Why?
Wait a minute.
Who's
the coach?
I just missed everything on that one. Nia Long.
Don't get none of the good news, Chandler.
Who's the coach?
Ime
Udoka.
He was the assistant.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Nia Long's fiance.
Yes.
The off-white brother?
Nah, actually, he's about as dark as me.
Yeah.
He ain't dark, bro. He ain't dark.
Bro.
He ain't light. He ain't light. But anyway, not only does he have my woman, but he's the coach for Boston, which means I had to witness her in some Boston garb. That pissed me off. But
hey, she might make it look good, dog.
She did.
He's like Tony Parker's complexion.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Oh, he is? Wow.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I don't know what that dude looked like. Anyway,
all he knows is that he's with Nia Long. That's all he knows.
Right.
I give him 2 years.
Right.
Oh,
Atlanta Hawks.
Wait, 2 years with Nia Long or 2 years as the coach? Does it go hand to hand?
Yeah.
Both.
Are we running that parlay?
Y'all are horrible, bro.
Worms I open up, but the Atlanta Hawks maxed out Trae Young. They gave John Collins 5 years, 125 mil. They brought back Solomon Hill.
They had to pay him.
Lloyd Pierce got the boot in the middle of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Nate is in. Nate McMillan. They drafted Jalen Johnson forward from Duke. What are your thoughts on their offseason?
Their offseason, their offseason was great because they signed Nate McMillan. That gives them an A across the board.
Yes.
Whatever else after that, the hell with it.
Right.
True.
I agree.
I agree.
They didn't improve because
But they didn't regress.
Right, they didn't regress either, Mark. Yeah, and I like John. I like Collins.
Yes,
I actually do, and I didn't want to see him walk over, a few $1 million. I'm not no hater because they beat the Knicks. It's good for the league.
Right.
It's good for the league that you keep this continuity within these teams. So just by those two things, Reggie made. I ain't gonna give him an A+. I'd give him a B because they stood fast. Right. And let's not forget, guys, lightning in a bottle, whatever you want to call it. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Cam Reddish didn't really play a lot this season. Cam Reddish gets to play next season, and that's a boost. Of course, you were gonna re-sign the franchise. I know Chandler doesn't like Trae Young, and he would have preferred for John Collins to snuff him and leave, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Damn.
I caught on to Chandler. He don't like nobody, but he likes spam. I'm
done.
Hey, yo.
I'm done.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially the turkey spam and the spice spam, and now the hot and spicy spam.
When Dom
now
told
he sounds like Bubba Gump. He's like,
when
we got
Dom
turkey
said,
spam and spice spam.
When Dom said there were like multiple versions of spam, I was like, really?
Yeah, my son.
How do you know that? I didn't know that.
I figured Chandler knew. Jalapeno spam, all sort of spam. Spam.
Cajun spam.
So anyway,
I will say this.
Jerk spam.
Off the sports tip. I was kind of happy because I said, damn, this got to be the first time in 5 years I found out something Chandler likes.
Oh,
I was happy. I was just happy. I said, shit, go ahead.
Hey.
Then he said steakums.
Yeah.
I said steakums.
Yeah.
Yo, took it back with that one, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think I give the Hawks a high grade. I don't know whether it's somewhere between maybe A- and B+.
Right.
Because sometimes the best thing is not to get in your own way.
Right.
And sometimes we go into these off season thinking that we have to reinvent things or make a lot of changes when there's only tweaks, and sometimes it's just solidifying what you already have and not being so impulsive, thinking that just one more move and I can do. Sometimes that team is a young team.
Me?
No, not you. I'm saying in general. I mean that team is a young team,
right?
And I didn't pick them to beat the Knicks, but they went all the way to the conference finals and put up a good showing throughout. So I was impressed with them. I'm not a hater. I hated watching what they did to the Knicks, and I hated watching Trae Young do it. But I give them their props, and I have a lot of respect for them. So
I agree.
I just think that not being impulsive and sitting back and saying, looking at what we have, and what we can do with this, instead of going out and thinking that you have to make the big splash. So on that alone, I give them high marks.
Right. And also just the fact that all the stuff Nate McMillan has been through, all the times he's been a good coach and teams gave up on him and fired him, and he had to suck it up and go sit on somebody's bench, and then Lloyd Pierce was not doing a good job because Atlanta was struggling last year.
Wouldn't have made the playoffs
until they made the change. Wouldn't have made the playoffs. And Nate McMillan got in. He galvanized the team. He changed the culture within their locker room because Collins and Trae Young were not getting along, and other players weren't getting along with Trae Young. And now they seem like everybody's good and happy. They're professional and they're a solid team.
Think of this, Mark. In a semi-weak free agent pickings this year, the Atlanta Hawks got the best free agent to fit their team, and he was on their team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That don't happen too often.
that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
true.
Right. Let's move on. Charlotte Hornets. I see some things with them. I see a
yeah.
lot. I see some good things with them. They, they picked up a kid with the funny name,
Bug night.
Book Night,
Book night.
Yeah.
from UConn. That was a good pickup.
Yep.
They
The kid
also
Kean
picked up
Johnson. The kid Kean Johnson. Yeah.
Yep.
no Kai Jones. They picked
Kai
up
Jones. Thank you.
Kai
There you go.
Jones.
There you go. There
from
you go.
Texas center. They got that through the Knicks.
Yeah.
Kelly Oubre.
They picked up Kelly Oubre.
Yep.
You like that signing, Dom?
Yeah, because you know
How-
why?
How much
Why?
did they give Kelly Oubre?
I don't know what the contract was, but if this kid Bug Night, however you say his name, if this kid is a fraction of what they say he's going to be, then Kelly Oubre is going to be out there shooting threes until the lights come back on. Because with this Bug Night and Miles Bridges going to the basket, you're talking about the 5-slammer jammer. You're talking all of this high flying act from here out. And
Yeah,
that's
Bug
why
Night
you
is
need
good.
Kelly Oubre to sit out there and shoot. He ain't got to do all of that other fancy stuff no more.
Right.
I think that was a good pickup.
Okay. Okay.
I like LaMelo Ball. He had a
Yes.
good rookie season, rookie of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think he should have been rookie of the year though.
Right. His brother, I don't know if y'all saw the post I made today.
Yeah, I saw that.
On the Hornets.
Yeah. He's
Leangelo
looking good.
He looked good. He's transformed his body.
Yes.
I think he's worked on his quickness because that was a big problem with him. He wasn't quick, and he was built like a forward when he's really a guard because he's 6'5", 6'6". He always could shoot, so there may be a place for him. I don't know if he makes their roster or if he goes to the G League, but I like what I see in him right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Hornets got a log jam at the guard position. I get to watch them all the time. Hence the reason Devontae Graham had to leave because they got a log jam at the guard. So
right.
I wish the kid, well, you're right, Mark. He might make their GDEF league, whatever this shit's called now. But he might make that squad. If the Hornets weren't so top heavy at the guard position,
right.
Maybe. But and they got some contracts in that position. I mean, they got rid of Monk. Right. If Melo was a swing, like let's say a Monk could, actually handle the ball and shoot. If he could do that, because they did give up 2 shooters, Monk and Graham.
Right.
But they're going to be a high flying act, guys. Trust me. I mean, Miles Bridges already showed you what he could do. Don't get it twisted. This kid has gotten better each year, and he can shoot now.
What do we think about the coach? Because that's what I've been on the fence about with them. Because they got a lot of talent. I don't know if the coach is the right coach to really maximize the talent.
He's a good coach.
Is he? Okay.
He was dealing with a lot of mix and match pieces. Then Hayward went down. Monk went down. Graham went down. Ball went down.
Right. Ball went
Bridges
down at the end of the season.
And guess what? Their Achilles heel has been the center position because Cody was getting older. Bismarck E, rest in peace. He was getting, his better days were behind him.
Yeah.
And now you go get this Bug Night kid. That's where they was weak, guys. They had a good little team, but their center position was always all over the map.
Right. They can I think they'll be a team next year if things go right and health wise. They're healthy and they they're a young team. I think they can be in the hunt for that 7, 8 spot. It's open and they can improve because they looked decent in spots last year.
Matt,
the best center the Hornets have had in the last 7 years was the last good year Dwight Howard had.
Right. Davey, you were about to say
I was
something?
going to ask if you saw that dunk that kid Kai Jones did.
Yeah.
That
I was
was
watching that game when he did that. Yo, that was ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Somebody-
Bud Knight, and
Yeah.
Bridges.
Yeah.
somebody is a poster, and if I was that dude who got dunked on, if I was one of his friends, I'd text him that every morning. Why'd you jump? What were you doing? What were you thinking about?
That was
I'm
ridiculous.
I'm just glad I get to see the Hornets for free. I mean,
Right.
it's fun again.
So
they said it was
overall,
Kenneth Fareed.
right. Ooh, that was nasty.
Yeah.
Overall, we give the Charlotte Hornets a passing grade, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Ooh.
Chicago Bulls. They made big splashes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gave DeMar DeRozan a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Gave him a boatload of money.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't believe in Chicago at all.
I don't either.
First of all, DeMar DeRozan is turning into the ghost of DeMar DeRozan. You gave him an a-hole full of money. Your best player, Zach LaVine, with the moves that you've made, you put yourself in a position where you can't give an extension to your best player. Now, I'm never been a huge Zach LaVine fan, but he's the best player on that roster. Let's be clear, right? And you gave other people money and you didn't take care of him first. That kid, listen, you say what you want, but Lauri Markkanen can shoot threes. You need shooting, but you brought in a mid-range guy. I don't know what they're doing in Chicago. I know everybody loves the names they brought in, but man, I actually think they got worse. I don't think they got better. I think they got worse.
I'm going to go out on a limb real quick and just say this. I think the Bulls did the most this offseason to improve that team. They filled. See, this is the thing. When you keep saying a name and this, the Bulls actually went out and got the pieces they needed. And they're going to be pretty good. I think they did the best this offseason. Will it transfer over? I don't know. They was on a good little run last year until the wheels fell off, guys.
So where's DeRozan going to play? He's going to play the 3?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or LaVine, right?
Well, LaVine isn't really too small.
Remember, guys, if we can use catchphrases for other teams with this non-positional player, this is the NBA. I don't think we're looking at who's a 3, who's a 4, who's a center. That's the NBA rules, not dominant. We have this positional league now, remember? Mm-hmm. So I think LaVine could play the 3. I think. He definitely got the hops. He's a good defensive player. And he can shoot. Who's going to check him at the 3?
Okay, aside from him, who's scoring for them? I mean, listen, DeMar DeRozan's scoring, his play was falling off in San Antonio. It's not going to pick back up in Chicago. He's trending downward.
Well, so was San Antonio.
I get that, but he was part of the reason they were trending downward.
There was nobody around him. I mean, he's going to do his mid-range game. And you still got Kobe White coming off the bench that can shoot from the locker room.
Like Kobe.
You got Markkanen.
No, they don't. Markkanen is out there. He's not out there. He's not signed.
He's not a free agent.
That's what I'm saying. They haven't signed Markkanen, and that's what I'm saying. They needed some better shooting. I would understand. I understand what you're saying about they put pieces in there that should fit. But if you look at it, it doesn't make sense that they actually got better.
I think they did a good job, guys. Just me.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
Remember, guys, they was in the hunt for those playing games. And then it just, the wheels fell off. Now, again, Lonzo Ball isn't going to improve your perimeter shooting, but he's at least.
Oh yeah, that's right. They got.
I forgot about
they
him.
got Lonzo.
He's at least a good setup guy, good passer, good rebounder, good defender. Just can't shoot that well. But that being said, if he does his part, That's what they brought him in here. They didn't bring him in there to shoot threes.
So their point guard and wings are, the point guard is Lonzo, the wings are DeRozan and
Levine.
Levine. Is that playoff material?
Yeah.
Nope.
Play in.
Maybe play in if you got Markkanen back, but if you don't bring Markkanen back,
right.
And I know I like Kobe White, but who else? You know what I'm saying?
Right, Chandler. He's Markkanen's a restricted free agent, so
who they haven't signed. Yeah.
Right. Would you you bring him back? Right.
Right.
I would. Yeah.
I like Lauri Markkanen. He's been somewhat underwhelming, but I do like him as a player, and he is what you want in the NBA. He's a stretch 4.
Plus, they got that kid that's going into his second year now that's been showing his ass in some ball. That Williams kid.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Pat Williams, the kid from Florida State. Yeah, the kid from Florida State. You know what? I'm on the fence about him because he only really flashed at Florida State one season. So maybe he takes the next step. Maybe he doesn't. But if he doesn't take that step, then you got a house of cards.
Right. I'd say if they don't sign Markkanen, it's re-sign him. It's a B.
Yeah. Because I heard, matter of fact, Chandler brought up a good point. I heard the Hornets was interested in him.
Right.
Yeah. The kid can shoot. He can.
But they have to match. They can match the offer. So.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Right. Let's move on.
Hey, yo, I gotta drop. I gotta get up at 4. So.
No doubt.
You got to go to his 17th job.
Yeah, you know how it is. Gotta pay these bills, man.
That's right.
All right, bro.
Cleveland Cavaliers. They gave Jarrett Allen the 5-year extension. They drafted Evan Mobley, another center.
Yeah, which makes no sense if you gave Jarrett Allen $100 million.
They are about to trade Colin Sexton. He's on the trading block. Cleveland is Cleveland. They are a hard organization to try and see what they're trying to do. What are you guys' thoughts?
F.
I'd give him a C just to match all the other letters. Cleveland, Cavs, C. I ain't that in tune, guys. But I don't know about the Colin Sexton thing because when you hear all the rumors, if basically things didn't happen now, before the draft, during the draft, after free agency, you don't see that movement much in the NBA until the trade deadline. So a lot of those ships have basically sailed until the trade deadline now.
Yeah.
Because teams are getting set right now.
But that's the thing, Dom, is again with this organization, you had a market for Colin Sexton. Teams wanted him because they looked at what happened with Kevin Porter Jr. And he got out of Cleveland and suddenly, and yes, Houston had to give him some help and everything, but he suddenly turned into the player we all thought he could be, right? Once he got out of Cleveland. So it's teams that want Colin Sexton. It's teams that want the kid Garland because they're like, let's just get him out of Cleveland because Cleveland's a dumpster fire. You give Jarrett Allen $100 million knowing you're going to draft a center. If you're going to give Jarrett Allen $100 million, you don't need to draft a center. You can't play
with the
two
number
centers.
3 pick.
Right. You can't play two centers. Their organization has no direction, which means your team has no direction. So it does. That's why I say F, because there's moves they should have made, and people can say, "Oh, you just some guy." Listen, us guys that's been watching these sports over 30 years, we might know a couple of things. You understand what I'm saying? So it don't take a rocket scientist to know that you could have got some good return for Colin Sexton and you chose not to. So now you're still going to play two mismatched guards. Now you're going to play two mismatched centers. Really?
Right. Actually, they're not even mismatched. They play the same. They built the same. They play similar, very similar.
2 centers, 2 point guards.
when they drafted Colin Sexton, I was a little upset because I liked him in college, and he played well his rookie season. So it didn't make sense to go and get a replica of him in Garland, because Garland they play very similar, and they're both scoring point guards. So you now starting 2 point guards who are about 6'2", 6'3", and they play similar, and they got nice numbers because both of them average 20 points a game, about 5 assists apiece. And I know they look at each other like, they didn't need to put us together.
It kind of
like Mark Jackson, Rod Strickland.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. They look like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other like Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I kind of like when I go to the store and I see a shirt that I like, I might go back and buy the same thing again just because I like the shirt.
So you're saying that's what Cleveland is doing?
Yeah. I think maybe they can benefit from a name change.
They get an F. They get an F.
F for the F. F for just being Cleveland.
Right.
Yes.
Dallas Mavericks, they gave Luka his money. Tim Hardaway Jr. He needs to thank the New York Knicks for putting him on the road he is on. They gave him a 4-year deal. They brought back Boban Marjanovic. They signed Reggie Bullock, and they brought in Sterling Brown.
Sterling Brown from This Is Us?
No, Sterling Brown, the kid who got in the incident with the police in Milwaukee.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
He's a solid player. He's a solid player.
Yeah. Dallas, to me, if KP doesn't get healthy, Dallas is just an okay team with Luka.
You forgot they got Jason Kidd.
That's the thing, Dom, right there.
Well, Jason Kidd's a good coach.
Yeah, if Kidd can get Luka to get out of his own way, stop being. Now, granted, Luka's 22. We sometimes forget that he's as young as he is. So the childishness is still there. But if he can get him to stop being a child, even if you looked at him in the Olympics in that game they lost, he was pouting in that game, passing up shots. He was mad about something, and his team lost. Yep. If he can get him to act like an adult, act like a professional, just act like a professional, that team can be really good. So I think the Jason Kidd effect is what's going to give them a passing grade for me, because we know Jason Kidd can coach. I know I can't stand Jason Kidd. I'd run him over with my car if I was still driving.
Damn.
But
wow.
But the guy can coach.
That's the Chandler I know.
Right. So let me ask you this, Chandler. We see that Nate McMillan was given a chance and able to succeed. In my opinion, Jason Kidd wasn't given a total chance in Milwaukee. They did what they did, and they are who they are, and they moved on.
Right.
If they let him do what he needs to do, which is give him time, do you think he'll improve Dallas?
Yes. Like I said, I can't stand him, but the guy can coach.
Hopefully he stops burning bridges. I mean,
right, that's it right there.
We could say we could give him all the accolades, but he's been known to burn a few bridges.
That's why I didn't have any sympathy for him with Milwaukee, because what he did to get there.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like turnabout was fair play.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we're even. So now you go to Dallas and see what you do.
All that being said, they really didn't improve their team. They're the same.
No, they stayed pat. They didn't have any draft picks.
You got Reggie Bullock, but you got Tim Hardaway. I mean, Bullock might be a good spark coming off the bench, but they'll be just what they were last year.
Okay.
But okay, with that being said, well, we know how Mark Cuban is, and are they going to give him the time to develop, or if let's just say they have a rough season this season, God forbid, what happens? Do they let him go?
No, I think he gives him time because
Yeah.
Cuban, one of the things that he's publicly said that he regrets is screwing up and letting Kid and those guys go when they had that championship caliber team. That they won the championship and then he didn't want to pay anybody and basically he broke that team up. This is his
Gates,
do-over.
gotcha.
So I think he's going to actually go overboard and giving Jason Kidd a chance. Like even if it's obvious to the whole world it ain't working, Jason Kidd gonna keep that job through the duration of the contract.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's a good point.
Upset.
Even with the win now league that we talk about. Okay.
Yeah,
Plus Jason Kidd they love him in Dallas, the fans.
yeah, they do.
Speaking of somebody I can't stand,
Uh-oh.
I can't stand Mark Cuban,
Yeah,
but I ain't
You
gonna
know
hold
that.
that against him.
Yeah, right.
You know, he got enough skeletons in his closet, so
yeah,
Uh-oh.
he's
Let's
got to
move-
get out of jail free pass.
Right.
So
yeah. They all
okay.
did.
let that
They
go.
all did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's move on. Denver Nuggets.
Oh. My Western Conference team.
They signed Austin Rivers to a 1-year deal. They brought in
Okay.
Jeff Green got a 2-year deal, Chandler, as opposed
Nice.
to the vets minimum.
Nice.
They re-signed Will Barton.
Okay.
And they
Does
gave
he even play?
and they gave
What-
JaMychal Green a 2-year deal.
I like that.
Yeah.
They drafted Nashawn Highland from VCU in the draft.
Okay.
They made some small moves, but these are small moves that improve their depth
Yeah.
and fortify their starting five. What do you guys thoughts?
I give him a B just because the Nuggets are that next step. They're that team that keeps climbing,
Right.
and they get Jamal Murray back.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he might be coming back in the middle of the season because of the injury.
We'll see.
But
Porter
I
Jr.
like Denver.
Yeah, Michael Porter
I do
Jr. is
too.
getting better and better by the minute, making me want to shoot somebody that drafted Knox. But again, I'll let that go too.
Boy, so we got one guy that's threatening to drive over somebody in their car. We got another one that's shooting people. I don't know, but this show is taking a turn.
As hard as I've tried, until Kevin Knox is off the Knicks, it's always going to be a thorn in my side.
Mhm.
You know, you didn't want to take this guy. I understand because of his back, but his back ain't an issue no more. And he's 6 times better than Knox, and Knox played 1 extra year.
Right. He just gets buckets.
The kid was sheer talent before he hurt his back, guys. Come on. He was the #1 pick before he got hurt.
Yep.
He was the top pick in the NBA draft. Then he got hurt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody passed on him. The Nuggets said, hey, we'll give him a year. He could watch the game, rehab. So he's watching the game and he's picking up. And when he hit the floor, he ain't stopped since, guys. I mean,
I hear you. I mean, I know it's off topic, but just hearing that just gave me a flashback to the Mets and their draft.
Yeah.
So,
Kumar, yeah.
Sorry, that just brought up a
what
bad.
happened there?
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
We'll talk about that.
Yes, we will.
Tomorrow
we could talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel you, David, on that.
Yeah.
And
But you know
Chandler
what, though?
been going off in the text group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust Mike Malone.
Why?
I think
I
he's
thought you
taking
liked Mike Malone.
I do like Mike Malone, but I think he's taking him as far as he can take him. And I know Jamal Murray got hurt, but I watched that team. That team has been going upwards, and they should be a little more battle tough. They should be a little more ready for certain situations that they faced in the playoffs. And they look like they had no clue. They were running around with chickens with their heads cut off. And there's only so like when you're a screamer, there's only so long that the screaming actually works.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Like
And
Right.
and I don't know if his screaming and his we were soft and we didn't play hard. I don't know if I think at this point they're looking at him like, what else you got, man? You got any other
Right.
tools in your box? Because we've heard that already. So that's
Right.
what I mean. I love Mike Malone as a coach, but I think that he might have taken him as far as he can.
Mm-hmm.
But let's not forget. Let's not forget. We said the same thing about Budenholzer, but that's a subject for another day. But when you look at Denver, not only were they missing Murray, but Barton was out most of the year. He came back for the last couple of playoff games.
Exactly.
So they were missing some key pieces, guys.
True.
But again, if you watch them and you watch their ascension, each year they get to another round. And to me, just me, guys, health issues. If they're a healthy crew, they're going to the finals this year.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. It all depends on how they play Jokic. Me personally, I'm not saying because he can do certain things that he should be doing certain things.
Reggie, you sound like you underwater.
Yeah.
I probably am. Oh, my bad. Y'all hit this. Y'all
That's
still.
much better.
That's
Yeah.
much
Okay.
better.
No, I'm saying just because Jokic can do certain things doesn't necessarily mean he should be doing certain things. I think his game down low is his strong suit, but they want to play him outside behind the 3-point line, and I think that's taken away from it. I think if they clean that situation up, then yeah, I will say they go to the finals.
Okay.
If you're a big man, be a big man. Stop trying to be a shooting guard or a point guard. Stop it.
But at least he gives you that versatility where he can still take you down low, and he still can
But
shoot
he
outside.
works.
But now again, you're bringing Barton back. What's his name? I just brain fart. The point guard,
Murray.
Jamal Murray.
You got Green. You know, you got some good steady pieces, and Michael Porter in his 4th year. I think from watching the Nuggets, and this is where I always get upset because they're like the only non-New York team I like. I think in some ways they go away from Porter too much, where I'll see him score 16 points in 1 quarter, and then he becomes an afterthought. I don't get that part. Maybe
is
it's
that him or them? So is it him or them? Does he? Because I watched those games too, Dom, and he starts to drift. He starts to drift instead of going and demanding the ball. Now, is that a function of him still growing in his game, or is that a function of the guys on the team not wanting him to?
Right. It's a combination of both, because when Murray's in the game, if he's not dishing, he's doing the ISO thing.
Right.
Joker, who's a great passer, don't get me wrong, but there's too many times he gets headstrong on going to the basket. Good moves, don't get me wrong, guys. You know, I may be wrong, but I watch a lot of Nuggets games, and they just seem to go away from him, Porter, far too many times. I could see if he was off. You know, I've seen the guy hit 8 straight shots in a quarter.
Isn't that on the coach?
I'm like,
is that on the coach and the point guard?
A combination, Reg, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's scary about Porter is he gets a lot of his points in rhythm. He's not one of those guys that's going to ISO you to death, and he gets a lot of his buckets.
Right, he's not a ball stopper.
Yeah, he's not a ball stopper. He'll get his points in rhythm. So when the rhythm is not clicking, he's like a man on an island.
I don't know.
Talent, man.
I don't get it, because it's like, yo, if the guy is going, you gotta keep him going until he can't go no more. Exactly. I mean, we've all played that way.
Mm-hmm.
If Mark is on fire, Mark is getting the ball until he can't put it in the basket no more.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Right, but you know, me and Reggie, we play together, so it's guys who become ball stoppers, Reggie. Like we play with a dude who sits there and counts how many times he doesn't get touches on possessions, and there's guys like that in the league.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, to Reggie's point, that's the one thing I see that Joker does too much of. Sometimes he stops the ball, just like
you're
Luka.
right.
Sometimes they take the air out the ball, and everybody's standing around, and then you throw the ball out with 2 seconds left, and you expect everybody to be Jerry West. That don't work, you know. I like Denver, but that's one of the things I don't like about them. Sometimes Joker gets too into Joker, and he becomes a ball stopper. And there's everybody standing there. So
that's the way I used to see Melo when he was with the Knicks.
Yeah.
He'd throw the ball in there and he'd dribble for 20 seconds.
Game over.
Yeah, and then pass it out and somebody rush the shot.
Can't wait till we get to them Lakers.
Oh, good God.
All righty then. Let's move along. Let's get through the fodder of Detroit.
Oh God. Can we just move? Can we just go? Can we just go?
Keep it pushing, Jalen Rose.
But hold on, they drafted my cousin. No, he's not.
That's right. Yeah,
that I know of. But
that was a bad choice, bro.
No, that was a good pick.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Well, hold on. Let me get my thoughts out. Then you can tear him up.
Right.
They signed Corey Joseph, gave him a 3-year deal, and they gave Kelly Olynyk a 3-year deal. They picked Cade Cunningham, and they picked up Isaiah Livers from Michigan, who I like. That's a good move. Go ahead, Chandler, tear him up.
Listen, Cade Cunningham is going to be a good player. Okay, he's going to be a good player. All right. The kid that went second, because there's so many Jalen's now, I get them mixed up. But the Jalen that went number 2. No, Green. It's 1,000 Jalen's now, but the kid, first name is Jalen that went number 2. He should have been number 1. Cade Cunningham is not as athletic. He's not going to be as athletic as he was in college. He's going to be a good player. I'm not saying he's not. He's going to be a good player, maybe really good. He wasn't worth the number 1 pick for a moribund franchise. Now, I know they had to take him because he was consensus number 1 player and all of that, but I'm just saying that in about 2 or 3 years, the guys that will pick behind him are going to surpass him.
I give Detroit. I give Detroit kudos because Chandler was talking about consensus. Detroit took a flyer on the number 1 college basketball player that everybody overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Garza.
Which one?
Garza.
Who? Oh,
Garza.
yeah, I like the Garza pick. I love that pick.
Again, a guy stays in college more than 5 minutes. He's, a used tire. This guy was the consensus All-American Player of the Year. I don't even know where he went in the draft. I just know he went to Detroit.
Yeah.
52.
He went 52.
52.
And I watched him play yesterday. Guess what? He lost 20 pounds.
Looks good.
He looked really good. He was shooting from the outside. But this was the number 1 player in college. Their team stood in it. They had a good record. And because he played too many years in college, he became a Buddy Hield.
It wasn't just that, Dom. Dom, let's be honest. It wasn't just that he stayed in college that long. Let's be honest about that.
He played in he plays for a football school team, Iowa. And
it's also because of how he looks. All right. Let's be honest. All right. They kept trying to find ways to diminish his game. And that kid has tremendous game. He can rebound, he can shoot, he can pass. That kid, he should have been a lottery pick.
Yes.
He should have been a lottery pick. And they kept finding ways to diminish his game because of how he looks in the school he played for.
But they was in the top 10 most of the year. Right. Remember that. They were in the top 10 most of the damn year last year.
I know.
With basically a one-trick pony.
Yep.
Okay. So I don't get it, but I think that was their best move. I'll tell you what, that Cunningham kid, he's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah, he is.
I didn't realize he was that big.
I thought he was another Kobe White,
No.
2'2" that could shoot.
No,
but he's bigger than I thought he was.
Yeah.
I tell you, my family grow. Well,
Oh, okay.
because I'm 5'7".
That's because they don't eat spam, Mark. They don't eat spam.
Right,
Yo.
right.
Now they eat Vienna sausages.
Let me ask y'all this: do you think do you see any upside in Detroit going forward?
Nah.
Maybe they're starting at bare minimum this year and they make some moves.
Ain't
Yeah.
no
Or
way.
are they stuck right now?
Yeah.
There's no way but up.
Yeah, they got Sadiq Bey, really good kid. Listen, Dwayne Casey can coach. He never gets credit, but Dwayne Casey took the same team that Stan Van Gundy couldn't get out of the cellar and got them in the playoffs. Same roster when they fired Stan Van Gundy in Detroit. Dwayne Casey took the same exact roster and got them to the playoffs. Dwayne Casey is a great coach to teach fundamentals, set a foundation. To me, he's Nate McMillan light. You know what I'm saying? Where if you got a team, you need them kids to learn how to play, and you need to build it up and make it professional and presentable. Dwayne Casey's your guy. So they have pieces. They got the right coach. It's a matter of if they give him the time to do it.
Agree.
They
Let's
They'll win
move
22
on.
games.
Yeah,
Golden
22,
State
25.
Warriors. They gave Mr. Chef Curry the Stephen 4-year extension. Gave Otto Porter Jr. a 1-year deal. There's rumors that they're in the hunt for Ben Simmons.
Oh God.
Wow.
We got a friend to the group. He's on the West Coast, big Golden State fan. He doesn't think Ben Simmons would fit Golden State.
Me
I think he would.
They already have a Ben Simmons.
What?
They already have a Ben Simmons.
Who?
Draymond Green.
That's his replacement.
Well, that's right. But I think he would fit if you don't have to rely on him to shoot anymore.
Right.
All he has to do is pass the ball to open shooters.
Yeah, who's
And
he
rim
going
run.
to take the balls? Who they taking the ball out of? Whose hands are they taking the ball out of to put his hands on it?
Nobody's because they play a motion offense.
They ain't taking the ball out of Steph's hands to give it to him.
The
That's
ball
just
really,
me.
well, Dom, the ball really isn't in Steph's hands. They play a motion offense. So,
But he's the primary. Him and Draymond Green are the primary distributors. I have nothing against Ben Simmons. I like the kid.
Right.
I just think he fell on some, woke up one morning, everybody realized he can't shoot. I don't know what happened.
I don't know about that.
If Ben Simmons could shoot the way my brother Reggie shoots, he'd be a solid player. Because I tease Reggie about his jumper, but Reggie hits his fair share of jumpers. He keeps you out.
But he doesn't need to take the ball out of anybody's hands.
Right.
Listen, if you in that offense, he can rim run. He's going to play defense. They can use him a lot like they used. What's my man name that had broke his leg in like 17 places and came back?
Livingston.
He's a little bit better shooter.
Sean Livingston.
There you go, Sean Livingston. They could use him like they use Sean Livingston while he works on his shot. Because you remember when Sean Livingston came back initially with the Warriors, he was a guy, he played defense, he rebounded, he would pass the ball, he would hit layups. Now, okay, Simmons doesn't hit free throws. We get all of that. But I think in Golden State, if they don't have to mortgage the farm to get him, I think he becomes that Swiss Army knife for them where he can do everything and they don't need him to actually score because they're going to have enough scoring. They don't need him to score.
Right.
Well, where is he going to play?
The 3.
I would play him at the 4, 3 of the 4.
Draymond plays the 4. He could play the 3. You
He
could
could play the
start him
3.
at the 3 rather.
At the rate the Sixers
On
are going.
defense.
At the rate the Sixers are going because they open their mouth, Doc Rivers, they open their mouth so soon that they're gonna end up trading him to Sacramento for draft picks if they want to get rid of him. Because we already learned that nobody's giving up A, B, C, D for this kid because of what the Sixers did. You can't even blame the other team. It's basically what the Sixers did.
Yeah,
that's stymieing their own trade value.
So can I ask this question? And seriously, Ben Simmons, we talk about what he isn't. When it comes to free throw shooting and the role that we envisioned he would play in Golden State if that's where he went. I wonder what type of player does Ben Simmons think he is, and what I mean by that is sometimes a player might think that they are a different type of player, and so if you put him into where we think he fits, does he feel that that's where he fits, and would he be satisfied with that same kind of role?
That's a good question, Dave.
Yeah.
Depends on the coach, David.
It's not the
And
coach.
no, no,
It's
no.
not,
Let me expound a little. Depends on the coach and where he sees where Ben's strengths are. And you try to hide his weaknesses.
In today's NBA, guys, that's a little hard because, again, it's an offensive-driven league. Give the kid credit. He plays great defense. He's a great passer.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an offensive-driven league. I mean,
my buddy from the West Coast is on my page. What's up? What's up, HP? He says Wiggins is a better fit for the Warriors than Simmons.
Yes.
How about that idea?
Yes.
I don't agree.
by far.
I do.
I don't know about that defensively. I think Simmons. I think Simmons is as good a fit as Wiggins. I'm not gonna say one is better than the other because it depends on how they want to use them.
Right.
I mean, they used Kelly Oubre last year. Listen, Kelly Oubre was taking way too many threes. And they utilized Kelly Oubre to his best ability, and he benefited from it. He went somewhere else, got himself a good contract. But Kelly Oubre looked like a really good fit in that system. When honestly, if you had said before he got to go to state, would he fit? Then you'd be like, oh hell no. And they found a way to make him mesh very well with that offense. So again, I like the fit for Ben Simmons. I like the fit for Andrew Wiggins because that coaching staff and that organization has shown us the ability time and time again, whether it's Sean Livingston, Andre Iguodala, JaVale McGee, you name the guy that we said, why the hell would they take that guy? That they've made him function in offense and look like he was really successful in that offense. So, I ain't gonna say one's more better than the other. I think both can fit equally well.
So I think that wherever Simmons winds up, he's going to need to be in a place that will rebuild his self-esteem as a player.
His confidence.
His confidence, because he's damaged goods coming out of Philadelphia, and that was Philadelphia's doing. So I think that he's going to need a place that the first thing they're going to have to do is this is same thing as him shooting free throws and working on that. He's going to have to work on rebuilding that confidence and then be in a place that feels that he feels that they want him and they respect what he brings to them. Because he's still a young guy, and he's gonna need to have a place that embraces that.
David, that's why I didn't like when they talked him out of playing in the Olympics. That's why I didn't like that, because they turned around 5 minutes after they said we're going to work with him and started talking about trading him. He should have played for Australia in the Olympics because that's where he could have rebuilt some confidence. That's where he could have rebuilt some belief in his game. And they, I don't know who said it, but they have done him nothing but a disservice the way they've handled this entire thing. Okay, the whole way they've done this, they have screwed this kid because you should have let him play in the Olympics. And Doc Rivers and Daryl Morey need to shut the hell up.
Let's keep it on Golden State. They drafted Jonathan Kuminga from the G League Ignite and Moses Moody from Arkansas. What are your thoughts on the draft picks they made?
I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
Hell, Kendrick Perkins could even say Moses Moody's name. So.
Yeah. The kid Kuminga, I think he's gonna be somebody to utilize, especially if Wiseman gets hurt again. I think he's a good fit to kind of give them something in his place. as a stopgap, fill in whatever depth for Wiseman. But again, it's Golden State. I mean, their biggest thing is they're getting Klay Thompson back.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
And
So,
healthy. Both their guards are healthy.
And Weissman.
right.
And say what you want, but Wiggins, who we had under the bus 5 minutes ago, he sure has settled in. And again, how old is Wiggins?
27.
We make it sound like these guys are so old because he got drafted so young. I mean,
That's true. That's true because he's been around a long time.
He sure has come around.
Right.
And they didn't get rid of him. All the rumors, all of that.
Right.
Still there.
Right. I give them a B. Just because it's Golden State, and I think, I think they'll be back in the hunt next year. Let's move on to Chandler's favorite team right now, the young Houston Rockets, who drafted Jalen Green. That's the Jalen you were talking about.
Okay, yeah.
They didn't really make any moves in free agency. What's that sound?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody's chewing on Max Ethernet cord.
It's not me.
Wow. Well, I figured it might be you because you hungry all the time, Chandler.
Nah, that wasn't me, bro.
Somebody's microwave went off before, so
yeah. Houston Rockets didn't make any moves in free agency, but they picked up Jalen Green. What are your thoughts?
I like them. They made their free agency move by getting Kevin Porter last year or this past season. They are going to be crazy athletic. They're going to lose a lot of games, but they're going to be crazy athletic.
They're fun to watch.
Yes, they will be. And we get to see, Paul Silas' son, and we get to see how he can really coach. You add in what they already have. I like the construction of that team. I like the talent. Right now they're just not ready. You know what I'm saying? They're just not ready yet.
Right. Well said.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Let's move on to the Indiana Pacers. Re-signed TJ McConnell. Looks like they might be trying to trade Miles Turner. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Y'all hear me?
Why are they trading Miles Turner?
Oh.
I'm sorry, David. Go ahead.
No. I'm saying I hear Mac. I don't have anything to add to it. But.
Right.
I don't know why they want to trade Miles Turner. That doesn't make sense to now. Unless he just don't want to be there, trading him makes absolutely no sense.
It's Indiana. He wants to be in Indiana.
Plus, I think his money is coming up.
Okay. Pay him. You got the space, pay him. It's not like you got some ridiculously overpaid player on your roster. The highest paid player, Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis should be your two highest paid players. Period. End of story.
Right. And Brogdon, the point guard.
Listen, like I just said, Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis should be your two highest paid players. Okay.
Right. Oh, well, Miles Turner is under contract for the next 2 years.
Yeah, so why are they trying to trade him? It don't make sense, man.
Actually, 3 years. 20. Yeah, he's under contract for the next 2 years, rather.
Then trading him makes absolutely no sense to me. Makes no sense at all.
Well, it's Indiana.
That's true.
I wouldn't trade Miles Turner. No. I keep letting him be who he is and keep letting him grow as a player, both him and Sabonis.
Yep.
That's a tag team right there.
Who's the coach now? Because they got rid of that clown.
Rick Carlisle.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
F.
It's F.
Why'd you say an F?
Because I can't
Well, I
stand Rick
agree with
Carlisle.
you.
I think he's a terrible coach. I think
He is.
he's gotten credit for stuff he had no real hand in. That team won the championship not because of him as a coach, but because of the players they brought in who were coaches on the floor. Rick Carlisle, listen, I didn't like Rick Carlisle because he's a Celtic. He was a dirty player. He wasn't a good player. I don't like him as a coach. I don't like him as a human being. And he's a Celtic. So you know what? F.
You said that twice, the Celtic part.
Yeah. He was gonna say it like 4 more times.
Yeah, I
He's
was.
a Celtic. He's a Celtic.
Celtic.
He's a Celtic.
Did I mention
So
he
how
was
do
a
you feel
Celtic?
about Bill Russell?
No.
I love Bill Russell.
We love Bill.
But he was a Celtic.
Yeah, but that's different.
Reggie, now you sound like you across
I'm in
the
the car,
room from
so
you in the
no,
car.
I'm in the car right now. I gotta go pick up my mother from the airport, but I didn't want to get off the show.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
No doubt. Moving along, because the consensus is the Indiana Pacers are an F because of Rick Carlisle.
Yes.
Oh,
LA Clippers. Reggie Jackson still didn't get signed, right?
yeah.
He's
They
still
did sign him?
No, he's unsigned,
No.
right?
I
Oh,
thought they signed him. I know they signed, which brings me to the Knicks.
But
Now everybody laughs at the Knicks. They signed Justin Winslow, who hasn't played in I don't know how long, and Kawhi Leonard, who we don't know when he's ever going to play again.
he still.
But we're still talking about Kemba Walker. Really?
Yeah.
They get an F. I don't know if they signed. I thought they signed Jackson.
No, and they gave Nicholas Batum a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Okay,
The West is becoming the senior citizen club.
dude. Dude. Oh, I don't know, bro. I don't know what the Clippers are doing either. Because really, I mean, Reggie Jackson proved last year that he's an integral part of your team. Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Ty Lue as a coach. I don't think he's actually a really good coach. I don't know what he's okay. He's okay, but he's not great. He's no earth-shaking guy. Let's be honest.
They did give Reggie Jackson some. Looks like he's
Okay.
a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't know what they're doing with them because he's getting rid of guys. I think because he just don't like them, not because they don't fit what they're doing. And Kawhi is just quietly destroying that team because there's too much stuff coming out about his snakish moves. You know what I'm saying? It's too much. Like, I don't really care that you did it, but bruh, keep it to yourself. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Keep it to yourself. If you were gonna snake Russell Westbrook, that should have never came out. All right? Because now you got the cast on your team looking at, well, damn. It's just, I don't know, man.
How did he snake Russell Westbrook?
Well, the story is going around, which I guess has been confirmed, is that Westbrook actually called him during Kawhi's race. Like, yo, but before Kawhi said he wanted Paul George, and Russ was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Let's do this. Let's go somewhere together. And after Russ called him, he turned around and called Paul George, like, yo, Russ won out of Oklahoma City, but I really want you, son. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want to gossip. I ain't want to gossip, but your man said this type nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That's a snake move, man. Come on.
Hey, Kawhi moves bad boys in silence. He be moving in the shadows. It's like remember that old vampire soap opera, Dark Shadows.
Yeah, Dark Shadows.
He
Yeah,
moving like
Barnabas
Dark
Collins.
Shadows.
Yeah.
Remember him, Barnabas Collins.
He's the Barnabas Collins of the NBA.
I'm just trying to figure out when is somebody going to say Kawhi Leonard is high risk, low reward.
He kind of is right now, Dom. If you think about it,
always
now,
injured.
Yeah, I mean, he got Toronto a championship, but if you look at the Clippers, right? I mean, what have they really done with him other than choke away a 3-1 lead?
Yeah. And he's load managing in the offseason.
Yeah.
Maybe Michelle Beadle was right the whole time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can't even expect Kawhi to rehab all day because he got to get 2 days off in between.
That's right. That's right.
You know, he might not play this year.
He might not.
You notice he took Toronto to the championship after damn near sitting out a whole year with San Antonio.
Oh yeah.
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 And still did the load management thing on Toronto.
Yes.
Yep.
He is the load management king. I think
Yes.
when you look up load management, he's in the picture like.
That's right.
And again, if that's
Poster
because of how bad his knees are, I don't really care about that part of it. Listen, you got to manage your body where you manage your body.
Right.
But it's the other stuff. It's the other stuff with him that's slowly and surely starting to come in. Like it's the other stuff. I don't think that you can have a good locker room with him with all the stuff that keeps coming out. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing. There's a difference between somebody being quiet and somebody that comes across like they're hiding something.
Right.
He's hiding the injuries.
And it's always somebody else's fault.
Right.
It's the Spurs training staff, it's the Clippers training staff, medical staff. It's always somebody instead of just maybe I ain't drinking enough milk. I don't know, but it's always somebody else with him. And
maybe he needs to call Amari Stoudemire and consult with the wine baths.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
That actually seems like something that'd be right up his alley.
Not to make fun of Amari.
No,
Stoudemire
not to,
because,
but I mean,
Amari Stoudemire never complained publicly about his body and his knees. He never really.
He just snaked people, through comments in the media and backstab people.
Who, Amari?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he did.
I never heard him blame nobody for his injuries.
No, not the injuries, but it was always someone else's fault when the team didn't do well. You put your hand through a fire extinguisher glass door, but that wasn't your fault, bro. Okay.
That's
because he was passionate.
Right. That was stupid.
Yeah.
But he didn't blame nobody. He didn't do a Kawhi. I put my hand through the fire extinguisher because the training staff ignored me when my shoelace was untied. I mean, really? Come on.
Yo, our brother Reggie said enough with these pretenders. Let's talk about the contenders.
Okay. All right, let's go.
Let's get to the
LA Lakers. They made a whole slew of big moves. Brought in Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, the big trade in getting Russell Westbrook. They brought in Kent Bazemore, Kendrick Nunn, brought back Trevor Ariza. They loading up and they ready to rock and roll. I think it was it you, David, who posted that picture of what's the Sylvester Stallone movie?
The Expendables.
Oh no, that wasn't me, but yeah, I saw that.
It's the NBA version of the Expendables. Some of the moves I like. They needed shooting. Carmelo, he shoots at an acceptable rate from the 3 line. Trevor Ariza is all right from the 3.
Trevor Ariza, it's amazing. I mean,
he's old.
Was he in the ABA?
Yeah. Kendrick Nunn. I like the Kendrick Nunn pickup.
Yeah.
That's the one I like.
That's the only one I like.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard, I guess he knows what he is now, and he's an exceptional role player.
Yes, he is.
And he'll probably start at center because AD wants no parts to play in center.
Right.
Really.
They needed the
Somebody look up the numbers, because if I'm not mistaken, they have 5 guys over 35, 3 guys over 32. They've assembled the best 2012 basketball team in 2021.
But you know what they did? Chandler can appreciate this. They did what the old Lakers used to do. The old Lakers would bring in a Spencer Haywood. They brought in Bob McAdoo, and they told those guys, "Listen, you're gonna play about 10, maybe 20 minutes, 20 minutes."
I think they're the first team to have
this is one of
this
those
many players over 35 years old.
Right. Well, I heard that they're moving. They're going to be the Palm Springs Lakers.
They're going to be the Geritol Giants.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, guys. Almost every one of them that's over that age limit, except, believe it or not, Dwight Howard, have suffered injuries. The only full season that LeBron James has played in the last 3 years was the year in the bubble.
Yeah.
Listen, Carmelo's been durable. He's had one season where
he's still Carmelo. He's Carmelo.
Well, no, Carmelo fitting in Portland. He'll fit in LA.
Yeah, he's not the guy who thinks. See, the thing I don't like with the construction of the roster is, okay, if you're looking at Melo for scoring, he's got to be with your second unit. So who's scoring? All right, okay, you can say LeBron, but who's shooting on the first unit? Who's the shooter on the first unit? Because like Kuzma or not, he was a shooter who had to be respected. Whether you know what I'm saying, whether he was making them or not, you had to respect his shot.
And Caldwell Pope.
And right now, you let both of them go. So now you got Dwight, AD, if he can, last long enough to actually get on the court and to stay on the court. LeBron. Who's your point guard?
Westbrook.
Okay, Westbrook. Who's your two guard?
Kendrick Nunn.
Okay, no. That's got to be a starting five.
Or Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, that's got to be a starting five. I would have none in the starting five. And I'll put Bazemore coming off the bench with Melo. I mean, listen, I don't have a problem with what they're doing because, again, I can go back to those old Lakers Celtics teams where they had 7-8 guys who had been in the league forever and had success. They were coming off the bench. I mean, the Celtics used to run, a damn near all-star squad off their bench. The Bill Waltons of the world and guys like that. The Bill Walton, the Paul Silases, guys like that. Lakers used to do it too. Michael Thompson's, the Michael Thompsons, the Spencer Haywoods, the Bob McAdoos, And I understand what they're doing. I just don't know if it's going to work because AD cannot stay on the court. This all is dependent upon Anthony Davis playing at least 65 games. And I don't know if you can get 65 games out of Anthony Davis.
The last time somebody tried this was the year the Knicks won 54 games. Remember the gang that was over the hill gang and
well, they were really
but they weren't as old as this team. But what happened?
No, but those guys were on their last leg.
What happened at the end of the year? They had a great season, won 54 games. I think they were the second or third seed.
Most of those guys were in the infirmary.
Right. And by the end of the year, the wheels had come off. It's just the luck of it. I'll tell you what. One of them old dudes are going to get punched in the face if they don't run up and down the court hard enough. Because the Lakers went out and got Westbrook. But he don't want to hear about your age.
Don't the Lakers have Malik Monk?
Yes, that's right, Malik Monk. I forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if they would have started him with Westbrook instead of Nunn, because Nunn's predominantly a point guard. He was a point guard in Miami. I would give them a little better grade if they started Monk. Again, I had the opportunity to watch Monk here in Carolina. He's hit or miss, but when he's hot, he's hot. But like Chandler said, he may fit in well with them because they don't have much perimeter shooting.
Yeah, they don't.
They do though.
They just fit in.
Oh, they got Chandler's boy.
Who?
Ellington.
Oh my God! Stop.
Who?
Duke Ellington. They got Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
No, I think LA's shooting will be fine because AD is essentially a guy that scores anywhere from in the paint to the 3 line. LeBron hits threes better than he did early in his career, and he's all right from the 3 line. They'll be fine. Top to bottom,
Where do
they're
you
a
think they're
scary
going to
ass
fall
team.
at in the West?
Excuse me?
Where do you think they're going to be at in the West? What seed?
First.
What?
No.
Yeah.
You got to be. Somebody
2 or
check
3.
his cup.
They're 2 or 3.
Nah.
They're 2 or 3. They're not.
I'm taking friendly bets with you
You know, it's funny. I was going to say the same thing, Mark. I think that I know they're old, but that's a talented team that knows how to win. And I think that I don't know if they can stay relatively healthy, I give them a good shot coming out of that West. I'm not. I know it seems crazy because we're looking at the age and we're looking at the numbers, but it wouldn't shock me. It just wouldn't shock me with that.
David, I'm just looking at the fact that I'm only talking regular season here. I'm not talking playoffs. I'm just talking regular season. The Jazz are a better regular season team. They're just built better for the regular season. They have far more shooting than the Lakers do. You understand what I'm saying? And I think for even fully healthy, I think the Jazz are still a better overall team than this Lakers team. So I would give the Jazz a better shot to come out first. Now I'll give the Lakers 2 or 3. I think they'll be in the top 3. That's a given. They'll be in the top 3. But I don't see them.
So we going double on the iced tea bet?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm you know what? I'm thinking Utah's running it back. Utah's going first again.
I don't think they come in ahead of Utah, Denver, or Phoenix. I'm just saying.
I see.
Everybody looks at Phoenix like, all right, they might have caught lightning in a bottle, but guess what else they caught? Them young dudes got to the finals.
Right. So this year they're going to be
better. But they can only get better. The Lakers have nobody that could match up with Ayton. Nobody.
Dwight Howard.
Howard.
No.
Yes.
AD.
No. Stop, guys. Dwight Howard. What's he gonna set up with him? What's he gonna match up with him for? 16 minutes? He ain't playing 20-something minutes.
But Dwight Howard
hasn't
defensively
played 20-something minutes in 5 years, guys. Come
Dwight
on.
Howard defensive. Listen, Ayton still has a propensity to get into foul trouble. Okay, and Dwight Howard can get you into foul trouble still.
He don't have no offense.
I'm not talking about offense. I'm not talking about offense. I don't care about the offense. They don't need Dwight Howard for offense, man.
So how's he going to get Ayton in foul trouble?
Dwight Howard will still give you a double-double.
And defensively, he's going to give Ayton problems, which means Ayton is going to do things to get himself in trouble. Ayton still has propensity for offensive fouls, getting himself in quick early foul trouble, and they still don't really have anybody behind him.
What's his name was hurt, so he will be back. So again, you got
who
that.
Will be back?
Who was the guy that got hurt? The other center. Oh, come on! Somebody look it up.
Yeah, because I don't know who that is.
Somebody look it up while I'm talking.
Right.
Who the Lakers got to match up with Paul and Booker?
Westbrook and LeBron.
I love Westbrook.
Westbrook and LeBron are a wash for Paul and Booker. That's a wash.
I don't think LeBron's going to be checking Booker.
No. I'm talking about scoring wise. That's a wash.
No, I'm saying who's going to check these. Here's what I'm trying to get at, guys. For the Suns to have gotten where they've gotten with these young players and Monty Williams in only his second year, my theory is they kept most of their pieces too.
Right. They brought back all their pieces.
And they're coming back with some dynamite experience for guys that have been in the league and been together that long. Bridges could only get better. Booker already proved he's gotten better. And you got Payne coming off the bench. Now, I will say, like we say every year, can Chris Paul stay healthy?
Yeah.
He proved it this year. So I don't got the Lakers finishing 1-3. That's just me because I'm looking at youth over experience.
I see it as the Lakers 1, Phoenix 2, Denver 3. Fuck Utah.
Who?
You heard me.
I didn't hear the last one, Mark.
I said F
Utah.
F Utah.
Oh. So you don't even have Denver. You don't have Denver in the top 4.
No, I said 3.
3, yeah.
I said LA, Phoenix, Denver, screw Utah. But I do like players on Utah. I just don't like Utah.
I don't see it, guys. I just think the wheels are going to come off that elderly bunch. And again,
I
LeBron
don't
has not played a full season except the bubble season.
Dom, they have a lot of versatility in this roster. They also have a lot of depth. LeBron doesn't have to go all willy nilly every game. It's games where he can do the load management, and you can plug in if he wants to rest. You could plug in Carmelo because Carmelo is still in good shape, and it's a lot of mixing and matching. They got a lot of depth, and I don't. It's not like the Knicks in that year when they won 54 games because all those dudes died after 30 games. Their basketball lives just died.
Well,
these guys aren't old like they are.
Yeah. So it's a lot of age, guys. Nobody has had this much age.
And nobody has. They're too deep at just about every position.
Yeah.
They'll be fine as long as they start all their games around 5 o'clock.
Well, that's for David's benefit because we know David has he has a time he needs to go Betty by. No.
So do I.
Because
I don't watch the West Coast games, guys. I'm gonna be.
I'll be up at 4 a.m.
But that's why I get to watch so many Nuggets games because though they're in the Western Conference, their games start at least 9 o'clock.
Right.
It's not like they don't start at 10, 10:30.
Let's move on. Sorry, Mr. Reggie, on my page. We moving on from your Lakers. But thank you for joining us, by the way. Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes.
They drafted Zaire Williams. I like that pick from Stanford. And they didn't make any, I don't think they made any moves in free agency.
They didn't need to. Their biggest thing is getting everybody healthy, including the young big man whose name just left me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. If they can keep him healthy, dude, they're a top 5 team in the West. They're a top 5 team.
Top 5.
They're top 5. If they can keep him healthy, because that's what they were missing. He has so much talent. And he's really good, but he's been hurt. If they can keep that kid healthy, with the way that good God, I hate having so many concussions. The point guard.
Ja
Morant.
Thank you. Yes. That kid is special. That kid is special. Yeah, dude. Memphis, if everybody stays healthy, that's top 5 team for me.
Okay. I don't know about top 5. I see them somewhere towards the bottom. But I like Memphis. I like Ja Morant.
I do too.
I like a lot of their young players. They drafting Zaire Williams, nice draft pick. It remains to be seen. They on a bubble. Miami Heat made a move for Kyle Lowry in a signing trade. Re-up Jimmy Butler. Gave Duncan Robinson a 5-year extension. PJ Tucker moves there on a 2-year deal. They also got Markieff Morris. I like Miami. I like these moves they made. In regards to and they didn't have any draft picks. I've said they needed toughness, so they got that in PJ Tucker and in Markieff Morris. They also needed length. They didn't address that, but I like Kyle Lowry going to Miami. I know Dom was getting on them about having a 36-year-old point guard, but
well, it's
Kyle
a
Lowry
retirement community. Everybody goes.
Well,
to
no,
Miami
but Kyle Lowry, he's been very sturdy during his career. No real major injuries. He doesn't have to do the heavy lifting he did in Toronto.
That's
he
true.
Just come here and be the point guard, playing alongside Jimmy and Duncan Robinson.
The problem for Miami is Tyler Hero. Which Tyler? Because that's why they were so bad last year. Which Tyler Hero are you going to get? Are you going to get the Tyler Hero from the year before last, who wasn't, doing the, running down South Beach every night and then trying to come in and drag himself into the gym? With Tyler, because if you get the Tyler Hero that was hungry, that wants to prove that he belongs in this league, then Miami is a top 4, top 5 team.
If Chandler, he went out and he was getting deals. He wrote, Instagram models. How that is, and he was feeling himself.
Yep,
that's true.
Now, is he still going to be doing that? Because Duncan Robinson didn't do that. Duncan Robinson kept his head down and he got the bag. Okay, he got the whole bag. Right? So Tyler Hero, you keep talking about you feeling yourself. You ain't getting no bag at all. All right, because they wanted to trade him, but nobody would take him because people are worried about his off the court stuff.
Right.
He's turning into Hassan Whiteside, bro.
Hey, listen. Sometimes being in Miami is not a good place to be because of the nightlife and the Instagram models and what goes on in Miami.
Right. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I agree. That's tough. Miami is has a lot going on other than sports.
Right.
But bringing in PJ Tucker and bringing in Kyle Lowry to and even Markieff Morris. I know I like the Morris brothers.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
No, they as they gotten older, they aren't doing the foolishness they did when they were 20.
That's true. That is
true.
Yeah.
They matured a lot to where they can be counted on. Before, Chandler, you couldn't count on them for foolishness.
Yeah. I was more Marcus than Markieff, but Markieff did his share of dirt too.
Right. Oh, my brother Juan said Miami is the capital of boats and hoes. It certainly is.
Oh man.
But yeah, and Pat Riley doesn't take kindly to the foolishness in their solid organization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, it all comes down to Tyler Hero. What is he going to do? It all comes down to him for me.
Right. Let's move on to the Milwaukee Bucks. Bobby Portis, 2-year deal. They lose PJ Tucker. I think that's going to hurt them a little. And they didn't make any real moves. They had low draft picks in the second round. What are you guys' thoughts on Milwaukee? Are they going to be back in the hunt?
I don't believe so. I still don't trust Budenholzer. I don't care the fact that they won the championship. I still don't trust them.
Right.
I think the other team lost it more than Milwaukee won it, honestly. I think Phoenix lost it more than Milwaukee won it. I'm sorry. They shouldn't have got out of that series with Brooklyn. But they did, and they did win. But yeah, I don't see them even coming out of the East this season. So I mean, they'll be top 3 in the East again, but that's it for me.
Okay. David?
Yeah, I don't trust them. I mean, they won, and I think that they're going to be one and done. I think they got their championship, and so not everybody's got a dynasty. Some teams, it's their year. Everything clicks, goes right for them, and I think this was the case with them. They got their championship, and I think they're just going to have to be happy with that. But I don't necessarily. And honestly, I mean, if the Nets can be healthy,
right?
I think they are the team to beat in the East, even though the Bucks will be the defending champions.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just not sold on them as far as a team to repeat.
Right. Minnesota Timberwolves. They didn't sign anybody.
I don't even
They
know
had
what their needs were.
no. They didn't sign anybody as of yet that I know of. No major signings. They didn't have any draft picks.
Yeah.
It's a straight up
Yeah.
F. And Minnesota is just not a well-run organization.
No, they're not.
No,
Who's the coach? Who's the coach there now?
I'll tell you in a second. They just content to be in the cellar.
Yeah, I mean, you got the kid. What's his name? Edwards, right? Isn't that the kid from Georgia? Edwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Good pickup.
You got D'Angelo Russell. You got Karl Anthony Towns. Those three players alone, you should be a 30 to 35 win team.
And they got a brother that was on the Nets. That was on the Lakers.
Right. I mean that team should be fighting for a 7 or 8 seed, and they're not sniffing it. So, you know what? F until that organization decides to get it together. Oh, but now they got new ownership, so now we have to see
the
what
ownership is still snags with that whole deal.
No, I thought I read that it had already been approved finally.
No, the owner's doing sort of how the Wilpons have been doing.
Dragging
in their negotiation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dragging it where, well, I want to control the team for the next 2 years and then gradually give you control.
Nobody's going to sign up for that.
Listen, I bought the car. You don't get to drive it. All right.
Right. And that's exactly. Yeah, it's just it just sounds to me like no matter who they got talent there, but they just don't have a that's not a winning organization.
Right.
It's so bad there. I like Karl Anthony Towns. I just don't trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the player development that has been done with him.
The player development. That's it.
Yeah. This was a dude in college who was a top level defender. Remember when he first came in the league?
Yeah.
He made his name on defense when and everybody's like, oh my God, he can score too. Now he looks like the dude who ate Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, come on, man.
See, Minnesota's so bad. I forgot to remove the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah,
when we were talking
about
the
Minnesota for you to do that.
They just
bad. But you're right, Chandler. I mean, that player development sucks on that because you had a guy who had nothing but trending up, and you reversed it.
Yep.
And then in some organizations, these guys most of these guys come into the league, they're very young. And they've got to have adults that are there to guide and direct. You guys bring the talent, and we'll bring the instruction and the guidance part of it. It's just like in a school. You don't have the kids aren't running the school. The adults are running the school for a reason. Even though they are the focus, it's about them, and we develop them. Some organizations do that, and other organizations they allow the kids to run the organization. And I mean, from the standpoint of do what they want to do and nobody is checking. And that's not how kids learn. They have to be checked, they have to be corrected, not like a Ben Simmons correction, but they have to be guided and they have to buy into that this is an organization. You join a team, you join an organization, and this is what we do. Some teams don't do that. Some organizations do a poor job at that, and so a lot of guys, they're not going to develop themselves.
Right. That's like David. I went to a Catholic school for grade school. My 5th grade class, we wrecked 3 teachers and a nun. we made the nun retire because she was older.
You made her change her habit.
I still remember the teacher's name. They brought in Mr. Mastrandria. His second day in class, you know how the teacher steps out the room?
Yeah.
And the kids do stuff, and then when he comes in, we sitting like this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He snatched up my friend Alfonso, and in Catholic schools back then they used to hit you with a ruler.
Yeah.
Yo, he snatched him up by his collar, whack, 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 made him cry, and we all were like, "Oh,
yeah.
There's a change about to come."
Gave him some act right.
Right, and Minnesota hasn't had that. Now they had Tibbs as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
They had Jimmy Butler as the sage veteran to preach Tibbs' message.
Right.
They didn't like that, and they got Tibbs fired, and Jimmy Butler left. They went to the playoffs with Tibbs and Jimmy Butler. They haven't gone since.
Nope.
And before that, they weren't in the playoffs. Before Jimmy and before Tibbs.
It's true. It's true. It's unfortunate, and it's a shame to see a franchise like that. But that's the kind of changes it's going to have to start from the top. So hopefully, these other owners can get out of the way, and for their sake.
Right.
Yeah, and people think it's not a lot. People think it's not a lot to do in Minneapolis. I lived in Minneapolis. It's a lot of nonsense to get into. And it looks like Karl Anthony Towns has gotten into every bit of it.
Really? Yeah, I don't know anything about Minnesota except for the Mall of America. Yeah, Princeton. Yeah.
And the time.
And that's in the time, right? Mars Day action in there, but
my friend Juan said, "Real leaders lead by example, and that organization lacks real leadership."
Yeah,
that's right. Fact.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And it's been that way for a long time. Like they've had moments where they were okay because of the players they had, and then once KG left, they've been ugh.
Mm. Yeah.
Let's move on to OKC Thunder. Point guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he got his max extension, but he was heavy on the trade market. Yeah. A lot of rumors that he was going to be traded potentially here to the Knicks. They didn't really do anything else in free agency.
Who are we talking about?
OKC.
Oh, the ones with 55 first round draft picks over the next 7 years.
Yeah. They made 4 picks this draft. I think they got 20 next draft.
No, they have 17 first round picks through 2027.
Oh my God.
At some point, I understand stockpiling draft picks and stockpiling draft capital. What are y'all doing?
Exactly.
What are you doing with it? I mean,
right.
That's what I was just about to say. The same thing, man.
Is who's your marquee player? Is it Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? I like him as a player. He's very efficient. Solid off the court, on the court, really, really good player. Is he that guy, Chandler?
No, they signed him to trade him. Let's be honest. They gave him that contract, which is a really nice contract for him, but it's not an untradeable contract. And in about a year and a half, he's going to be traded for first round draft pick. All the teams they want to do is stay relevant. That's it.
Right.
That's what it sounds like. Yeah, I agree with that, because here's the thing for me. You said 17 first round draft picks through 2027.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous. It's a double digit number, and it's close to 20. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. Yeah.
Right. So this is we're going into 2022, and so here's my thinking is that, to me, draft picks, while it's necessary, that's not the goal to obtain.
Right.
Because if you're thinking about obtaining draft picks, like teams that are winning they're not in the lottery. And
Right.
who they're getting in the draft, they may pick up a steal here and there, but they're not going to be going after the top players in the draft necessarily because they're not going to fall to them. So if you're building a stockpile of draft picks, that tells me that your plan is losing because that's the only way that those would have any value is that if you are in a position where you're going to have high draft picks. And otherwise, they're at this point, they might as well just send them back to Seattle.
Right, but David, they haven't been in a lottery though. They've been in a they've acquired all this draft capital while also going to the playoffs.
Well, see,
but look at the
Presti,
players they
the
have.
GM, he's been very crafty in the moves he's made. Like he's had stars, and he'll move the stars to get draft picks.
Right.
I was in a discussion, I think earlier today, and a guy asked me, he said, well, Golden State was built primarily by the draft. I'm like, no, they weren't. They got 3 draft picks as their primary players. And I've been saying this the past couple of days. You identify the superstar or the superstars, and you build around them. You identify one player or 2 players, and you build around them. Right. No team is built solely on the draft because of a variety of reasons.
No, it's true.
OKC, it seems they don't have a superstar right now because Shai Gilgeous isn't a superstar, but he is a very good player and a promising player.
Yes.
Not a superstar, not a star, as he hasn't ascended yet to going to all-star games and winning awards.
Right.
Individual stuff. What's around him?
Well, that's the thing. See, that was what I was just about to say, because the other thing about star power is the ability to attract. And so no one's going to OKC because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is there.
Right.
That's not, so he may be the name on that team, but that doesn't mean that he's got drawing power.
Right.
And so I think that's the difference.
And he is their best player.
Right. So that's it's unfortunate when you can't even use your best player to attract other players.
But do they want to though?
Well, that's the question.
Right, because I think they're playing to their market. And we've had this discussion before that there are teams that aren't trying to win. Yes. They're just trying to stay relevant in their market and keep their fan base excited.
I was thinking about that conversation.
Outside of college football and college basketball, there are no other professional teams in OKC, I believe.
No,
there's not.
There are.
And if you're in Oklahoma, you go to Texas to go to games.
Yeah, you go to Cowboys games,
right?
Or you go to Texas, University of Texas, or Cowboys games, yep.
Right.
I'm talking about their region.
Right.
The closest place to go to a professional game in other sports is to go to Texas.
Right.
If you're in Oklahoma.
That's right.
So you're right, Chandler. They're like Portland, except for they aren't. Portland is a cool city for basketball. The people in OKC, they do have a rabid fan base, though.
Yes,
they do, but I think there's a difference between a rabid fan base and a demanding fan base.
And they're not demanding.
Right.
So
there are certain markets where the people are going to show up just because it's something to do, and then not really the level of expectation is not going to be the same. So they'll get excited the same way. It's like a college atmosphere. You go to the games and people are cheering and excited about it, and if they're winning, it looks great on TV. to see this rabid fan base and the team is winning. When they had Durant, Westbrook and Harden, and they were going to the finals, that rabid fan base played well on TV, and everybody said, "Oh, this is a great market."
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
that's not necessarily, if they're not winning, they're still excited and rabid, but they're not demanding the
Right.
winning. So that allows an organization to do what they're doing because no one is holding them accountable.
Right.
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 I gotta give OKC incomplete.
Yeah. For the next couple of years.
Even though they got like a 1,000 draft picks.
Yeah. Right. To be determined.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Phoenix because we talked about Philadelphia already. Well, no, we can go to Philadelphia.
Do we have to?
Hey, I don't want no Philly people coming after me because you know how they get.
I got people.
They signed Andre Drummond to a 1-year deal.
Makes no sense.
Not really. They drafted Jaden Springer from Tennessee. I like that kid.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a really solid defensive guard. Something Philly doesn't have on their roster besides Ben. Andre Drummond, it's certain players we're gonna have to do a show on the guys who blew their free agency.
Because the choices he's been making on where he wants to go to teams makes absolutely no sense for his skill set.
I'm not an Andre Drummond fan, even though he averages a double-double. His numbers are just really like, you're like, and okay, so you got 15, 17, 20 points and 14 rebounds and
that's what I mean though, Mac, is he keeps going to teams voluntarily where it's not a fit, bruh. All you have to do is look at the roster and know you're not a fit. So he's just chasing a dollar. And if that's the case, God bless you. You know what I'm saying? Get that money.
Well, he did get one big contract already, so he's on a 1-year. He's trying to reset his market value.
How are you gonna reset your market value in Philly where with Doc and not for nothing, Doc to me, Doc is going to wear Stan Van Gundy for me. It's time for him to go. Okay?
Right.
Time
and
for
also,
go,
also I think you playing behind Jolov Rice, who seems to he played with injuries this year and not how he usually played with injuries. He fought through the injuries.
Yeah.
He was a MVP candidate for most of the year. I'm talking about Jolov Rice. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna. They can't play you both together because y'all both. It's just a bad. It's a bad fit.
That's what I'm saying. And then you look at the management.
Get to play if he's healthy.
Yeah. And then what is Daryl Morey doing, bro? What is Daryl Morey and Doc Rivers doing? What are they doing? You sunk Ben Simmons' trade value.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You went and signed Andre Drummond, who doesn't fit a damn thing you do. Not one single thing that you do doesn't
threes.
fit.
He's a
post player. He's a back to the basket center, and you don't have one guard on that team that can feed the post. They can. That's why Joel Embiid has to basically get the damn ball himself in order to take it in the post. You know what I'm saying? You don't. You know what? Philly, I'm giving them an F, a PF, a PH.
Yeah, a PH. There you go. There you go.
I'm giving them a Z.
Just because it's Philly.
Because it's last. Between Andre Drummond, Dennis Schroeder, they really screwed up their free agency. They're not gonna get the money they want to get.
Yeah, they offered Schroeder that money and he turned it down. I'm like, really, dude? Okay.
Because Dennis said I don't know, Chandler. I know you've been. I I know you've traveled. You know, you've been to Germany. You speak any German?
Yeah.
How do you say? How do you say I royally screwed myself in Germany?
Scheiße. You say Scheiße.
Scheiße.
He shizered
He
himself.
Scheißed himself.
And it's not that Dennis Schroeder is a bad player because he's a decent player. He picked a wrong time to have a bad year in the playoffs.
Yes.
Him and Andre Drummond, in fact, they were on the same team.
Yes. And remember when Drummond went to the Lakers and I said to you, it made no sense for him to go there. It made no sense.
Right.
It made absolutely no sense because LeBron ain't going to feed the post. You a back to the basket dude. Frank Vogel ain't going to use you properly, and he didn't. You know what, man?
Yeah. Let's go to brighter, horizons, the Phoenix Suns, who did smartly in their free agency.
Yep.
Chris Paul opted out. They re-signed him on a still similar money, but lesser money so that they could re-sign also Cameron Payne. They gave him a 3-year deal.
Yep.
Chris Paul got a 4-year deal. They brought in JaVale McGee.
Boom.
Smart move.
Yes. Because now you have a backup for Ayton when he gets in foul trouble.
Right. They didn't have any draft picks, but essentially you don't need any when you're bringing back your 2 point guards and you bringing in JaVale McGee to be your backup center and solid veteran. I think Phoenix doesn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
They'll be a top team in the NBA this year.
Yeah, I like what they did. That's what I think it's another example of taking care of their home,
right?
And sometimes you don't need to go out, and shake things up, just because you fell, a few games short.
Right.
They were right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And can we give James Jones some credit? Now this brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Instead
like
he don't. You know what? He went from being a player, and he did the grunt work. He worked in the front office. He was an assistant. He was an intern to the owner, which means basically
he just bench.
He just basically walked around with the owner and got him coffee and hey Rob, how's it going, buddy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He basically was his personal assistant, and he went from that, but he learned. You know what I'm saying? He asked questions, and now if you look at remember when Phoenix was the dysfunctional franchise? Remember when Phoenix was Philadelphia?
Yes.
It wasn't that long ago, man.
It's the pH.
Yes.
The pH.
Hold on,
now,
Chandler. Remember when? And I gotta I want to get Earl Watson on the show because I kind of disparaged him, but then I've seen what he's doing on Instagram, and I even said Phoenix did him dirty.
Oh yeah, they did him so dirty. That was ridiculous.
He was the coach, and they had 50 million point guards and one rock.
Yeah,
and then they screwed Earl. They screwed. I'm not a big fan of Jeff Hornacek. They screwed him too.
Yeah, they did.
They screwed both of them in succession.
Yep.
And then they sucked really, really bad. And now look at them.
Yeah. Maybe you can get Earl on with Mike Hampton. Because you got
I would love to get both of them on, especially Mike Hampton, because y'all was saying all kind of crazy stuff about Mike Hampton.
Yeah.
If he could be in the barbershops I was in, and you mentioned I hope. But Phoenix, staying true to Jones's leadership, savvy moves. They brought in the right coach.
Yep.
Changed their culture.
Yep.
Brought in the right veterans to go with the young players that they have. They are setting themselves on the precipice of being really, really good for the next 3-4 years.
Yeah. Now it's a question of will the owner continue to stay out of the way,
right?
Or is he going to get the I need some credit portion of the program and want a medal?
see if it be it's certain owners who stay out the way and they let whoever is shining shine, and they don't want to shine. But then you got other people who it's all about me.
Yep. So as long as Sarver stays on the sidelines and
Right.
and is the owner of the franchise, sign the checks. I'll tell you what's going on. We'll keep you in the loop. You know what I'm saying? You come down to the locker room every so often, man, and walk around, shake some hands, take some pictures. We'll be good.
Yep. Portland Trailblazers. I am looking at them. I feel for Dame. I feel for CJ McCollum. I see some dark days. I think they'll still be a decent team. It's just really messy over there. They re-signed. They gave Norman Powell his extension. They brought in Cody Zeller and they brought in Tony Snell. And they had a number 43 draft pick, which is second round. It's gonna be really interesting, and it may get ugly.
I see ugly potential.
Yeah, it will get ugly. You're absolutely right, David. Because if you think about it, they've actually gotten worse. Somehow, some way, they actually got worse instead of better. And I've been watching, some of the summer league games. It's this kid Blakeney, walking bucket. But like the rest of the players that have been in Portland, this kid don't play a lick of defense, which is why he's in China. He was averaging 35 points a game in China, so this kid can score, right? But how did you get better? You still have Nurkic, who has gotten worse as a big man instead of better. He's consistently gotten worse.
Right.
You didn't really improve your roster. You didn't really improve your bench. Okay, Tony Snell is on his last legs. He's not the defender he once was. Norman Powell, okay, but Norman Powell can't cover up all your deficiencies. I can't believe the Yankees about to blow this game. He can't cover up all your deficiencies. Okay, he can't. So I don't understand it. And keep in mind that you got a rookie head coach that your star player isn't too sure of.
Right, and
right.
the smear and the stain of his past is raised its ugly head throughout the off season right now.
Yep.
Chauncey Billups alleged rape case that he managed to move to really distance himself from that because I forgot about it.
Yeah, and then Portland mishandled it to the point that it's all you can talk about now.
Right. I was reading. I'm like, wait, Chauncey Billups raped somebody?
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of it.
Wait, he was with Antoine Walker. What?
Yeah, Ron Mercer, punk ass.
Oh,
right. So now is all we've talked about. That's been the how they, like you said, Chandler, from the press conference where it got snitty with the press because the press wanted to talk about the case and Portland didn't handle that properly.
Not at all.
And Dame, people start, Dame is very active on social media, so people came coming for his neck, and he's like, I don't know what you talking about. He ain't rape nobody. Then he go and look, oh snap, he did rape somebody.
Damn.
So, and that's
Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing is Dame had never seen how that fan base could turn on a player there. Rasheed Wallace, Zach Randolph, those cats, they know. Darius Miles, they know how that fan base can turn on you.
Who's my man who used to get in trouble? The guard.
Quentin Q.
No, not Quentin. There's somebody else. It'll come to me, but go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
But and so because of that, and that'll happen because the organization hung him out to dry. So now he's looking at the he was already looking at the organization like, really, is you finally gonna get rid of Terry Stotts and then now you're bringing this dude and you hang me out to dry. They have managed to turn a good situation with a solid rabid fan base into something where I honestly and truly believe that after this season, Damian Lillard demands a trade. He's not going to do it publicly, but he's going to walk in the owner's office, close the door, and say, "Listen, man, you got to get me up out of here."
And who can blame him? He's given them 8, 9, almost 10 years.
Right.
He's been very loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
To a
He
fault.
actually said he wanted to stay there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and from everything that I know about him, that's his MO. He's a a loyal type of guy, but you still can't dump on people because that's gonna he's gonna ultimately be loyal to himself.
Yeah.
Right. Which he should be.
Yeah.
They Chandler, they made CJ McCollum the president of the players union.
Players Association.
Yeah, which tells me a lot about him.
Why? No, actually, I think it's a good deal. I think
Okay,
it's a good move.
This is the same Players Association that thought that it was enough to just do some performative actions, put some performative lettering on the court when they had an opportunity to really do something. This same Players Association that decided to do what they've been doing the past few. You talking about that Players Association? Okay.
But I'm talking about him.
If he wants to run it, then that tells me far more about him than you believe, because I think that he's just going to be another cog in the wheel. He's going to be in bed with the NBA doing the same nonsense they've been doing.
Well, I got to look on how he got the position. I think they vote on it.
Well, yeah, but he was the assistant, and Chris Paul stepped down, and they said, "Well, yeah, you've been here. You ain't ruffled no feathers. We'll vote you in as the president." But see, he was already part of all of the nonsense that's been going on. He's just in charge of it now.
So it might have been different. You're saying if he was an outsider as far as not part of the structure, and then then you can say maybe he's coming to make changes.
Yeah. If you're the deputy mayor and the mayor's corrupt, and now and he gets put out and you become mayor, well, you was part of the corruption, so you just the guy in charge of the corruption now instead of the assistant to it.
Wait, are you talking about? No, I'm not even gonna go there.
Yeah,
I was gonna talk about somebody who's. No, I'm not gonna go there.
In trouble.
He did it to himself, though. Sacramento Kings being the Sacramento Kings, they re-signed Alex Lynn, re-signed Maurice Harkless.
I love what Sacramento did.
Really? Why?
What? They managed to stay in the league.
Okay.
They had the number 9 pick. They picked up Davion Mitchell. I like Davion Mitchell. It's unfortunate that a team already that has a bunch of guards
picked up another guard. Yeah. Under a coach who can't coach the guards he already has.
Right. Look who they have. They now have Davion Mitchell, Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, and Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they because they needed another guard. You already got Buddy Hield, who your coach has alienated and who you should have traded and got something for him. You chose not to. You could have traded De'Aaron Fox because you have Tyrese Halliburton. Got something for him. You chose not to. You could have replaced your coach with a real coach. You chose not to. Okay.
You know why they didn't trade Buddy Hield?
Why?
They said, well, we got to stay here, then you staying here too.
I was talking to our brother Carl that's in our text group. Carl was like, in spite of Luke Walton being Luke Walton, the front office is just horrific.
Yes.
And I said, you know what? You're right. I don't want to, because we weren't trying to defend Luke Walton because he is a bad coach.
He is a bad coach.
Remember when he was the golden boy for a minute?
Yeah. he didn't capitalize on what went on in Golden State, which means he wasn't paying attention while he was within that organization.
Right.
Because he's doing nothing in LA. He did nothing in here in Sacramento. He hasn't done anything that they were doing in Golden State. Usually somebody leaves and they take the jewels with them.
Right. Because you at least want to give the impression that you were part of the winning culture.
Right.
You know, he like lucked into a situation with, when Kerr stepped down for a minute and you're right, did not capitalize. He wild himself.
Yeah, and you went to a franchise where if you were just decent as a coach,
right,
competent,
bruh, you could write your own ticket. You could write your own ticket to any franchise you wanted,
right?
And you have gone to Sacramento and actually become worse. Yeah. No one pays attention to Sacramento. You could have gone there, helped those guys get better. You played in the league. You know what it takes. You managed to stick in the league for double-digit years, and let's be honest, he wasn't that good a player.
No, the best thing about him was his last name.
Yeah, I mean, he maximized what little talent he had, and now you the coach, and oh my man, listen. But yeah, the front office is not helping, but it's a collective effort to screw that up. It's a collective effort.
Yeah, well, you know how bad the situation is because they're not even stressing him. You know,
I know.
It's not like he's in a hot seat.
Right.
Right. I remember I read a report, David, and it said it basically said we are highly enthused with Walton as our coach. I'm like, highly enthused.
They're just glad to have somebody there. There's on the paper, when they do the media guide, it says coach, and they need a name to put there.
What I find crazy is that Shaq continues to let his name be associated with that franchise. You know, he's a part owner of that franchise, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he's part owner, and he continues to. Listen, at this point, if I'm Shaq, with the clout and the gravitas that he has, I'm like, listen,
Right,
I'm taking over basketball. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead. Finish that.
Well, I'm taking over basketball operations. And we doing this right. We getting player development. We gonna put some money in player development. I don't understand unless he just wants to be associated saying he's a part of a team, which could be possible.
Well, it's the same way he wants to be associated with the General car insurance. I mean, it's just a name. Put his name to it and get that check.
Right. I don't know how. I gotta find out how big a percentage he has. If it's a small percentage, then he doesn't really have a big say. But Chandler, I am Shaq, so
right, exactly.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, his percentage is probably as small as his free throw percentage. So.
but even with that, David, because it's Shaq, right? Because
it's Shaq, true.
If he were to make noise about, listen, we could be better if they would let me do X, X, Y, they would have to.
You're absolutely right. That's another failure to capitalize because I didn't even know that Shaq had anything to do with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the first I'm hearing of it. So
obviously
he's not using the Shaq clout.
Right.
And doesn't Grant Hill have a piece of the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, now that I knew. And I've seen Grant. I've been to Atlanta Hawks games. I've seen Grant right there.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be associated with the Sacramento Kings.
Man.
They've been talking. I know there was talks about moving that franchise, but Kevin Johnson, who is a piece of, he's a POS.
He is. Yeah,
he has kept them there. Is Kevin Johnson still in politics?
I don't know. I haven't heard anything from him.
I'm not sure.
A long time.
But he's a creep.
He's a POS. Yeah, definitely. I hated him as a player, and I hate him even more afterwards.
Really? Why did you hate him as a player, Dave?
I just felt that there was something about him that he was one of those guys that remind me of the guys that come out of Duke. That they got that I'm this type of tough guy, but I think it's full of crap. I don't know. I
Right.
just didn't like. There was something about him that was disingenuous, even as a player, to me, and it
Okay.
just rubbed me the wrong way. So I wasn't surprised when he went into politics because
True.
it seemed like he was already on that road. But
Hmm. He was
um,
always a politician.
he was always
As
a
a
Yep.
player, he was
politician.
always a
Yeah,
politician.
always, I felt that, so I just didn't like KJ. But yeah, the Sacramento. I mean, what else can you say that hasn't been said about
Right.
And no knock, Sacramento may be a lovely place. I've never been there. I don't mean
I've
to
heard
knock.
it's a nice. I heard it's a nice town.
Yeah, I don't mean to
It's a cow
disparage.
town, man. Sacramento's a cow town.
I
I'll
heard. Yeah.
disparage it. It's a cow town.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's the capital of
Yo,
the Golden
let's
State.
Toronto Raptors. They picked up Goran Dragic in the sign and trade deal for Lowry.
Yeah.
They re-signed Gary Trent Jr. and Sam Decker is returning. They drafted Scotty Barnes with the 4th pick from Florida State. Toronto is trending downward to me.
Mm.
Yeah, they are. And I think Ujiri knows that. I think basically what he's trying to do is just stay. He's trying to reset instead of rebuild.
Right.
I don't think he
Right.
wants to do a total tear down. So he's
Yeah.
doing it kind of like you remodel your house. You do
Yep.
this room first, then you do the
Yeah.
next room. That
Yep.
looks like what he's doing.
I think he realized, and I thought Siakam would be better than he is. I think
Oh
he's
yeah.
a good player, but he hasn't progressed anymore. And
Nope.
he was supposed to become a star,
Right.
and he hasn't. And I think Ujiri realizes, fuck, I can't build around this guy,
Mhm.
and I gotta move him. So I know he was trying to move him last year, but now you stuck with him and Fred VanVleet. Anube is a keeper. I don't know if Anube is a superstar or a star or somebody you build around, but he is a keeper on your team.
Yeah. Um. See, they're in a tough spot, but yeah, I think Ujiri's just trying to piece this together while he tries to make a move with Siakam and maybe even Van Vliet at some point, to kind of reset that franchise. But see, they built up enough goodwill and built up enough of a fan
Right.
base where
Yeah.
as long as they're still relevant, that'll give him and the head coach time because now he's the team president now. He's in charge of everything now.
Yeah.
They just gave him a new deal. So
Goran Dragic for Lowry is two solid players. Lowry's a better player. I think he's a little better player than Dragic, but they both 35, 36 years old.
right.
And Dragic though is a solid player. He can come in and run the point for them. Because Van Vliet, I know him and his father keep saying, but Fred could play the point. Fred is a point guard. Fred's not a point guard
Fred's
at
not a
this
point
point.
guard.
Not anymore.
No.
Because he's played off the ball so much with Kyle Lowry. He is what he is. He's a high volume shooter.
Yeah.
Very efficient. But he's small.
Yeah. And I think up in Toronto, we'll get to see flashes of the Dragon again.
Right.
Not all the time, but I think he'll get more of an opportunity to be the Dragon again than he did in Miami.
Right. And like you said, they are resetting. I think is Toronto a destination for free agents?
It never has been though.
It hasn't. Not for big name free agents.
Right. Because dude, the taxes in Canada are woof.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And you paying US taxes too, depending on where you're from.
Right.
So, but I think they can get that kind of second level of player, and based on how that franchise is built, the type of culture they have, they can stay top
Relevant.
six. They can stay top six in the East.
Right.
That's without even trying.
Right. Last year they just they started out really flat, And if you start out really flat, it's like you chasing,
Yeah.
but you can't. Like I
Yeah.
was talking to somebody at work today, and we were talking about the Yankees and how the Yankees started out bad, so now they chasing everybody who, they
Right.
you're chasing now. You're in chase mode, which
Yeah,
means
yeah, because you count on other factors other than just winning.
right.
You
Right.
You
know,
hoping
now
the
you're
other
hoping
teams
that
lose
exactly. That's
or
the
start
difference.
losing.
Right, right. It's like running a race, and you gave them a head start, so now you hope
Right,
that they run out of steam, like the Mets have done.
right, right. And Toronto just it had a lot of bad luck last year. They had s- some injuries, and it just when they started out bad, I kept looking at them because we did shows where I was like, yo, they losing after 20 games, and then we got to 30 games. I'm like, they made a slight improvement, but really they not going anywhere. I
Yeah,
like Ujiri. I don't want to see him have this high plateau and plummet down. I want to see him do
yeah,
well,
yeah,
and I like what he did with that organization.
Yeah. I mean, he did. Listen, he made that team relevant in Canada, in a hockey city, and he made that team
yes,
relevant.
yep,
hmm We got two more teams to talk about. Utah Jazz. They brought back Mike Conley, 3-year deal. He got big money again.
Why?
Um, hey, it's Mike Conley. Rudy Gay signed a 2-year deal. I believe Hassan Whiteside is in the house,
Oh God.
and they drafted Jared. They got Jared Butler in the deal with the Pelicans. He went to Baylor. I know earlier in the show we said that Utah is a top team in the West, which they still are.
Ah.
Um, Mike Conley is getting up there in age.
Yeah, and he can't stay healthy.
Right. Rudy Gay is
A
like
1,000 years old.
1,000 years old. I love Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay is
Yeah.
one of my favorites. It's just that he's probably my age. He's like 50 years old.
Didn't Rudy play in the '80s with Spencer Haywood
he
and them?
did.
I think so.
He
I
did.
think so.
Yep.
And Hassan Whiteside has become a role player now. He's become a well-traveled player,
Yeah, he's become a waste of talent.
a journeyman.
Unbelievable. Hall of Fame talent, and he's a journeyman.
Mm.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Mhm.
Unbelievable.
I
Well,
think
it's Utah.
Huh?
It's Utah. Who cares?
right.
I don't. But I
I'm
forgot
sorry.
about the Mike.
Do we have independent fans in Utah? I'm sorry.
No, probably not.
Maybe one.
Maybe yeah, maybe one.
Oh, Dom. Do I see Dom? Oh, I thought I saw Dom. Okay.
He's on my page right now.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
forgot
Jim.
about the Mike Conley signing. I forgot about that. You know what? I gotta back off saying I think Utah's winning the West again. I forgot about the Mike Conley thing. Mike Conley can't stay healthy, and you gave him big money again.
Mhm.
If you had Mike Conley in the playoffs, you probably would have gone further. I
Right.
just I can't trust a team that wants to trust a guy who we know is going to get injured. I can't trust him.
Right.
Yeah. No.
It's Utah.
It's Utah.
I like a lot of their players, but they play for Utah, so
Yeah, exactly. Willingly at that. They keep re-signing.
hey, money is good.
Okay, you can get that same money somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right. Washington Wizards made the deal with the Lakers. Picked up a boatload of players from LA. They also signed Spencer Dinwiddie. I think they'll be better than you expect, Chandler.
No, here's the thing, bro. I want them to do well because I want Wes Unseld Jr. to be very successful as a coach.
Right.
If you look at the talent on that roster, they should be at worst a 7 seed. That's the worst they should be. But I can't stand Spencer Dinwiddie, and I wish him nothing but the worst at this point because I'm just tired of him running his mouth. Um, and they need him to play well in order to do it. So I'm kind of in between because I want that franchise to do well. Some franchises you have like you always kind of secretly root for because you've always liked some of their players. Like I'll go back with them to the book when they were the Bullets and Wes Unseld and Kevin Greavy and Bobby Dandridge and Elvin Hayes. You know what I'm saying? I'll go back that far with them. I need Spencer Dinwiddie to shut the hell up. If he would just shut the hell up, you know what? I'd be on board.
You didn't see the post that David, what does he get a $1 bonus if they win the championship?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! See, I can't with this dude. I can't with this dude.
Some people they're just too smart for their own.
And then he's big on. I have no problem with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all that sort of stuff. He wanted to turn his whole contract into. He wanted it all in Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin.
I know a football player did half. He did half of his contract in Bitcoin, and it turned out well for him. Spencer, you just be running your mouth.
Yes.
Bro.
Yes.
I liked your come up. Chandler liked your come up.
Yep.
When you were in Detroit and then you came to the Nets.
Yep.
And you became visible in New York, but he's just annoying now.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing shows where we were talking about, man, they need to re-sign Spencer Dinwiddie. They need to keep him and Karis LeVert. How do you choose between the two? I mean, he was doing a thing with the glasses, all
and
of that.
Sneakers.
Yeah, and then he suddenly realized that he could talk.
Right. And then you become like a GM because you were talking. You always kept the Knicks name in your mouth.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have did this if I was the Knicks. Dude, what? Shut up.
Right. Like you said, he needs to play well.
Yeah, he has to.
I think him and Bradley Beal will coexist really well because Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy that if you need him to score, he'll be that. If you need him to be a distributor, he'll be that. So
and he doesn't have to dominate the ball. Right. He can basically play the 2 guard some nights, and then Bradley can be the 2 guard some nights.
Right. Right. And then you could play all 3 of them. Contavious Pope on the floor.
Yeah. And they got Kuzma too, right?
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you think about it, all of them have something to prove. And again, I like what the Wizards are doing for once because you brought in. Remember, we had this conversation. Why'd you bring in Wes Unseld if you weren't going to get rid of somebody? And I'm like, they ain't getting rid of Bradley Beal, right?
Right.
And everybody's they got to totally reset it. Yeah, Bradley Beal ain't going nowhere. But I like what they did because you've reset the franchise just enough where if they don't do as well this season, well, we got a bunch of new players. So you've given the new coach cover. You understand what I'm saying? So he can get his sea legs, figure out how to coach, and nobody's going to blame him if the team doesn't do well because they got a bunch of new parts.
Right. They got young veterans, and you got young guys like Hachimura, who I like him as a player, and some of the other young players that they have. Washington should be in a good position to be a better organization, better team, and let Wes Unseld Jr. do what he can do.
Yeah. I think the point that you guys made about guys having something to prove, I think that's really playing into it too. I'm not a fan of the Wizards, but I think they've got a good base to be successful. Are they the last ones?
They're the last one.
So, okay, the reason why I asked is because when I was thinking about people with something to prove, it made me think about Ingram. We didn't talk about the Pelicans, did we?
No, we didn't. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about them.
Yeah, that's what made me think about. Wait a minute, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we need to rip them a new one.
New Orleans Pelicans. Why'd you mention Brandon Ingram?
I was thinking about players that left the Lakers and
Right.
then came and had something to prove. So when we were talking about the guys that the Lakers sent to Washington and that factoring in, it made me think about previously with Brandon Ingram and Ball, and so that's why I thought about the
Right.
Pelicans.
I
Yeah.
think they should have kept Lonzo, but I guess they didn't. They felt that that money was too much. It might be a mistake.
Yeah.
It is a mistake.
And Zion and Brandon both said they wanted to stay. They wanted all back in the fold.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen down there, but with Zion and remember when Knicks fans were getting excited, they thought he was going to get traded to the Knicks.
Yeah,
Yeah. Listen,
I
that
love
that
I love Nick fans. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah,
that again, we've had this conversation. The ownership of that franchise thinks of that team as an afterthought.
yeah,
They treat them like an afterthought, which is why they hired David Griffin as their general manager. David Griffin's not a good general manager. Um, he you hired the wrong coach. Um, you let a piece go when your star player, who you're supposedly trying to keep, said, "I want him to stay," and you said basically, "Well, screw you. You who the hell are you?"
Mm.
You know what? I think simply because it's New Orleans and again, kind of like Oklahoma City, there ain't nothing else there. All right, other than the Saints. And when the Saints ain't playing and LSU ain't playing, well, we got to have somewhere to go. Let's go watch the doggone Pelicans game. So you kind of have a captive audience, so to speak. So they're acting like it doesn't matter what they do and everything, but they're ruining this. I think they should have kept Lonzo. Now, maybe he would have worked with you a little bit on the money. You understand what I'm saying? But you never even tried.
yeah,
You didn't even try to
Yep,
keep.
you just let him walk.
Right. And that's the thing is you didn't make the attempt. Now, if you made the attempt, you made a solid offer and he leaves anyway, says, now I want out. Okay, then you satisfied Zion. Hey, man, we try to keep Alonzo. They want to be here.
right. But
But
again,
right,
good. I'm sorry.
you didn't even try. So basically, you spit in the face of your star player. You spit in the face of your other star player.
Right.
And you
And
hired Willie Green.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
No disrespect.
No,
No
but
shade thrown at him. I hope he does well.
yeah, to your point though about like when we were talking about OKC again, who's going to hold them accountable for it? That's the difference between a market like New York and LA and some of the other places. You make those moves. People are keeping a tab. I think that
Yep.
that's what happens with a market like here. As soon as you're hired, they're keeping a tab. Okay, he did this.
Hmm.
He did that, and
Right,
then they'll call you out on it.
Yep.
When you
right,
fail, and they point to all the things. Whereas in a place like that, maybe they don't hold them as accountable, and so that's
right.
why they're allowed to, do these things that mismanage, and nobody's really crying over it. We're
Right,
looking at it from the outside and saying, that's a poor job, but
right. I got a question for y'all. It's basketball related, but it also ties into other sports. I see what's going on with the Giants, the football team, our New York
hmm
Giants. Joe Judge is sort of wilding out to me
Hmm.
because I hear that this must be the fifth player that's retired
yeah,
from the
yeah.
Giants. When you deal with a team, do you think a guy should be a yeller, screamer, totalitarian type, or should there be less of that?
I think it depends on the franchise, uh, the type of players that you bring in,
Right,
um, and whether you've been winning or losing.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
are trying to establish a foundation of accountability and culture, and you
Right.
have a bunch of people who are used to losing and who haven't been held accountable, you want to then like what I learned in the military. It's easier to start off being an a-hole and then become
Yes.
a cool guy than it
Right.
is to start off being a cool guy and try to become an a-hole. So
Right.
you have to draw the line in the sand. I won't tolerate this. Okay. And if I got to get rid of all of you will go.
Right.
But
Or Chandler, like somebody who is ascends to the position and they were cool when they didn't have all the power, and now they have
Right.
all the power and they buck wild.
right now, see,
Yeah.
then nobody's gonna listen to you because oh, see, you a fraud the whole time, or you don't got the big head. Either way, you ain't getting no respect. Okay,
Right.
you have to be true to who you are. Um, I believe this is who Joe Judge was all the time,
Mm-hmm.
which was why when they hired him, I had a problem with it because I said this dude thinks he's Belichick,
Right.
and this is coming out of him. Now, this is who he's been the whole time,
Right.
but
And
people are
actually,
just now starting to see it.
he's starting to remind me of Mangini.
Exactly. Mangini
Mhm.
thought he was gonna be Belichick, and he took it to the next level. Everyone's like, dude, what have you actually done in this league? So,
Right.
Yeah.
but I think that Joe Judge, I think that his act wears thin after this season. I think if he
Yeah.
doesn't change after this
Oh yeah.
season, he won't be the coach there anymore.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I read a report that he's yelling, he's cursing at players. He made the staff run laps with the players that you know made mistakes. I'm like, yo, I'm a coach. I'm not running
Yeah.
shit.
See, now
Somebody been
hold
watching.
on. I don't have a problem with that, and here's why. And I'm gonna,
No,
I'm
I
gonna tell
agree
you,
with you though, Chandler.
I'm
Go
gonna tell
ahead. I
you
know
why.
what you're gonna say.
No, actually, I don't think you do. Um, my thing, I was quality inspector a long time in
Right.
aerospace.
Right.
Mhm.
One of my rules when I went to a company was this. I went to do an inspection, audit, whatever it was. I'll give you two. That means I'm gonna give you two repeated mistakes.
Right.
The first one, we just gonna fix it. The second one, I'm gonna document it. I ain't gonna bang you on it. Okay. If I come back a third time and I've already told you twice, now I'm slaying you. So
Right.
now, if you have players who are constantly making the same mistake, and I've come to you and you're the position coach, I said, listen, you got to clean this up,
Right.
right? You don't
I
clean it
agree
up the
with you.
first time. You don't clean
Mhm.
it up the second time. Guess what? Now I'm gonna treat you just like the players because apparently you ain't learned the lesson either. How are you gonna hold them accountable when you ain't holding yourself accountable? So now I'm gonna hold all of y'all accountable.
Go run a lap.
So,
There you go.
so this is the thing, and to Chandler's point, actually 2 points with that. Chandler, you mentioned about the military aspect of it, and I'll say the same thing is true in education. I've worked in schools for many years, and I've seen one of the mistakes that some new teachers have is they come into the school and they want to be cool with the kids first,
Right.
and the discipline isn't established, so the kids
Mm,
don't know where the line is,
right.
and it's very blurred. And
Yep.
one thing that students, and I believe anybody in a team type of environment, they are looking for structure,
Right.
and they're looking to see, in some cases, how this person leads. In other cases, they want to see how far they can push something too.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so there you got some teachers that they want to show the students that I'm just like you, and I understand you, and I feel your pain, and the kids walk all over them, and
Of
then
course.
by week 2, week 3, when there's no discipline going on, then they want to all of a sudden start yelling and being this authoritative person, and the kids are looking at them like, we don't believe you. and
Right.
and so to that, that's one thing. And the other factor, as you were saying, with the quality control, and the same thing happens. There are a lot of teachers who are very hard on students about things that they don't do well themselves. And
Mhm.
so, for example, I know teachers that will lock the door when the kid comes late, or they won't accept an assignment because it passed the deadline, but then they're coming late every day, and they're also not turning in their things that they have to turn in on time,
Right.
Right.
and so they hold the kid to a different standard than they live up to, and I tell you, kids are very perceptive,
Oh
and
yeah. Yeah.
so they'll see all of that. They'll read through all that BS, and the same thing with if you're a player and you've got a coach or assistant coach that isn't really living up to a certain standard that they're putting out, they're gonna they're gonna rebel against that.
Yep.
Right. Like David, that school year I told you about, fifth
Yeah,
grade. We
yeah,
had a woman teacher to start the year. Um, she was soft.
yeah.
We made her cry. She cried in
I've
front of
seen it.
us.
I've seen that.
And we
Unfortunately,
were like, oh snaps.
yeah, it's
Oh
done. It's
snap.
done.
Oh, this
It's
it's a
over.
wrap.
You might as well just
Sec
pack and go
right.
home.
Second teacher was a man. Nice dude. Really nice.
Hmm.
He had to get counseling after dealing
Oh
with
yeah,
us.
yeah,
And then we took it soft on the nun because she was older and she was retiring. So
right.
we were like, oh, okay, we'll be all right. And then they brought in that guy,
Yeah,
and second day he established
yep. That's it.
that it was not gonna happen with him. But he was also he was strict when he had to be,
Yeah.
and really nice when he had to be, and he
Well,
was a
there's
There you
great
go.
teacher for us.
and
There
there's
you
And
go.
fairness.
There you
right,
go.
That's
right,
the key.
he was very
Fairness.
fair.
Because
Um,
if you're gonna be strict, then you're strict with everybody. And it's not like one person gets over when everybody else seems to get punished for things,
right,
and you're letting
right,
this slide with that person, because that's not going to work. You got to be that way all the way across the board,
right,
and then the kid will say, kids will come back to you years later and say, you were tough,
yep,
but you were fair, and I understand what you did, and they'll
right,
respect that.
right, right. And going forward, the New York Jets under Rich Kotite, he was a bad coach for the
Hmm.
Yeah, he was.
Jets.
Yeah.
Um, I recently read I read an excerpt from a book. I gotta go get the book on how bad it was.
Mm.
He wasn't really interested in coaching. He was more interested in profiling.
Yeah.
Mm.
And they talked to some of the players, and
Yeah.
I'm a Keyshawn Johnson fan, so
Yeah.
Keyshawn he was like, Rich didn't care. He said dudes was coming in drunk late. He said, yeah, I was one of them. He said
Yeah.
we had a decent team on paper, but since he didn't care, we didn't care.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And
Exactly.
then they got Bill Parcells, and all of that just
Yeah.
nah. You gonna work. You gonna work hard, and we gonna be
Hmm.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what the thing is though with Judge, and if he has to make his coaches run laps, then you've hired the wrong coaches, which again
Right,
speaks to he's not long for this job.
Yeah.
Because if you have to punish the people that you hired like
right,
that,
Yeah.
then you have the wrong people in charge, and the players know you got the wrong people in charge.
right,
So again, they're still not listening to them or you. Dude, you can't even figure out how to hire a position coach. Hell, you gonna tell me about playing my position?
So here's the thing to that though. I will ask this though: would it make it any better if Judge ran with them?
Yes.
yes. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah. I think yeah, it was sort of
punish
like
yourself.
right,
Yes.
and say yeah, because then if I'm the coach, I mean if I'm the assistant coach, and you're punishing me because you know shit for brains can't get it right 3 times, and then I gotta be punished for it, then let's start from the top. If we're doing it like that, then let's all take this L together
Right.
and we run together because then respect comes.
Yep.
People are like, hey, he, I'll do it because he's doing it too.
Yep.
And then it turns into a thing where it's a team building. Because
Yeah.
some of these punishments can either be a team builder or a team destroyer.
Yep. You know what, David, and it's funny because again, I go back to my military. I had a chief E7 that I worked for. I was running
Yeah.
the supervisor, shop supervisor, and he actually sat me down one day. He said, Chandler, he said, I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna yell at you in front of your people
Hmm.
sometimes. I'm like, why? He said, even if you ain't done nothing wrong. I'm like, why? He said, because you need them to be with you against me.
Mm. See, that's
And
strategic.
I had to think, like, and it didn't, and then he explained to me. He said, listen, he said, there's times you're going to have to call out one of your people in front of them.
Yeah.
Okay, they need to know that you will jump on all of them at any point in time, but you also need them to know that you could be held accountable too,
Right.
which is why you hold them accountable.
Right.
And I was like, oh, so like, and he would give me a heads up. Hey, I'm on the way down there. You're gonna
Yeah.
get one today. Okay,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And you got to play like, oh man,
Right.
and he telling me after he
Right.
leaves, all this, but and they were like, oh man, I can't believe he jumped you. Like, that's no big deal. Don't worry about it. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
through it. And that's the thing
Right.
with Judge is the accountability. Like y'all keep saying, has to come from top down. If Judge
Yeah.
isn't holding himself accountable, but everybody else is wrong, come on, man.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Again, you do the examples from the military. I do it from the educational system. I mean, I've come across teachers who they're almost every kid in their class is failing,
Mm.
but but teachers are rated. Principal does observations throughout the year, and they get a rating. Now, the union protects a lot of that, so they don't like unsatisfactory ratings. And
Right.
they negotiate things around that. But that teacher will leave for the summer and say, "Well, I did my job. I was a great teacher." But your kids fail. So
Right.
Right.
how is that? You know, separate. How do you separate yourself from that? You didn't do the job. And
Mm.
I use the example of if I have a driving school and I had instructors going out there and all the people are failing, well, I'm going to look at that instructor and be like, well, what's going on here? So but we don't do that a lot of times in certain cases. So
Right.
again, it's the accountability thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with that, I'm tired. Y'all done talked me out.
And look at that. I stayed up.
I
Yeah.
know. I was shocked. I looked. I said, David left. He might not be coming back. Oh, he came back.
Somebody kicked out my Wi-Fi.
Um, yo, we had a good time tonight. I know it's a long show. I hope y'all can pick it up through spots. This is In the Paint. It's the realest show in sports. I'm Max 611, aka Mark Cunningham, aka Max 611. However you want to call me, just call me Mac. That other guy, I'm not gonna flame him tonight because that's my brother.
Uncle Cletus.
R couldn't
Uncle
be with us
Cletus.
tonight. R, R, R couldn't be with us tonight. But I want to thank everybody who's on my page. I see it was a lot of y'all on there tonight. Thank you. Share the show, support us. Follow me on Twitter at I'm waiting for I don't even know my Twitter handle anymore. I'm so tired.
At
Oh,
the Real Max 611.
thank you. At the Real Max 611. Follow me on Twitter. Follow us at In the Paint Media. Follow at Real R Jones. That's the other guy. He's more angrier than me. I'm nice.
He's also known as Uncle Cletus and Tay Diggs' broke uncle.
Oh,
And I want to thank David for actually staying up with us. Chandler, as always, thank you, brother. Dom, thank you. Reg, appreciate you. I see you in the chat room, Ronan. Thank you, brother, and everybody else. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
peace.